Welcome to episode 5 of Military Veterans Podcast, where we talk to veterans to learn about their stories and experiences. And today we are joined by Josh Boggi.
Nailed it.
Nailed
Cheers
it.
for that, Gav. Thank you.
Worries.
I've been called so many things over the years. You've nailed it.
I said your surname correct.
You did, yes.
Spot on. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Pleasure.
Now, this is the 5th episode, as I've just said, and I thought we'd mix it up a bit. I wanted to try something different that I might use for future episodes. So you're my guinea pig. I hope that's all right.
Nice one. Happy to be a guinea pig. Seems to be a guinea pig for everyone at the moment. It's great.
Fantastic. So what I'm going to try and ask is just like 4 questions, like a summary, I suppose, of what we're going to go into in more detail. So these questions are, I'll try this again. When did you join? What service and branch did you join? How long did you serve for? And what rank did you get to?
Off we go then. So I joined the Army in 2004, went into basic training and Royal Engineers Cap Badge. I spent pretty much my entire career at 9 Parachute Squadron within the Royal Engineers. Did 10 years in total before being military discharged. And yeah, when I was discharged, I got to the rank of corporal. Nice.
Well, already I'm excited to see where what comes out of this. So let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
As I say, this is your episode. And let's start, where did you start life? Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
I was born in Portsmouth. But yeah, my dad was in the Army when I was born. He was at the dive school down there. I think he was one of the instructors at the time. But yeah, sort of 2-3 years old, the old man left the Army, joined the police, and we ended up moving to a place called Slough.
Okay.
Spent my young years of my life going to school there and growing up there, and yeah, sort of stayed there till I was sort of 17 and decided I was going to leave. Well, wasn't decided I was going to leave. My parents decided they were moving from Slough to Lowestoft. I mean, I was only 17 at the time. To me, it was like they might as well have been moving to Australia.
Right.
Slough to Lowestoft's only 180 miles on a map, but I'd been there my entire young life so far, and yeah, I wasn't going. I needed to do something with my life, so it was sort of forced upon me. I mean, I left school. Did all right at school, got average grades, but I left school not really knowing what I was going to do with life, like most 16-year-old boys do when they leave school, or girls. So I went to college and I did what every other 16-year-old boy does. I did hairdressing.
All right.
Now, that's made you laugh. I do get a laugh out of that most of the time I say it. But I remember my mates taking the mick out of me and going, "What are you doing that for?" And to be honest, I was working as a Saturday boy in a barber's. I sort of fell into the job, earning a bit of money. A friend of mine ran the place. And yeah, I ended up going to college and doing hairdressing. Like I said, my mates took the mick out of me until they came up to the class and saw there was me and 19 females in there, and they were like, "You have played this well." It's like, yeah, I have. No, that's not why I fell into it. But yeah, I wasn't really doing anything with my life. So when my parents sort of made me make a choice in my young adult life, they were moving. I didn't want to go. I needed to do something. That's where I sort of followed in my dad's footsteps, and I joined the Army.
Okay. Well, before we go down that road, I'm going to ask a little bit about the hairdressing.
Oh, God, here we go.
So what you said, you had a little job. Was that the reason you kind of like wanted to give it a go as a career maybe, or learn a little bit more about it? Or was it just something to do?
No, I mean, I must enjoy it. I probably didn't do it just there. I did enjoy working there. You met some great people every day, and friends of mine still work there now, and the guy who owns it still cuts my hair now. But I just fell into it. I hadn't made the choice. I'd just sort of been ushered down this road. I was in there one Saturday afternoon when I was 14, 15 years old, and they mentioned they needed a new lad on a Saturday just to sweep the floors, make the teas and wash hair. And yeah, my dad said, "Well, why don't you do it, Josh?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And spoke to the boss. He's like, "I'll pay you 30 quid a Saturday," or whatever it was back then. And I was like, "Nice, 30 quid, happy days." Ended up doing that, and I was there for 3 years doing it.
Right.
But the college thing, it was leaving school not knowing what I was going to do in my life.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just wanted to play football and be outside and go to the pub and be with my mates, etc. I didn't really ever think about. I don't think I ever took school too seriously. So yeah, like I say, I fell into it. It was great for a while. Then the novelty wore off, and I wasn't really paying any attention in the lessons. I was there because I had to be there.
Yeah.
I couldn't really see myself going anywhere with life at that point.
And you mentioned school, doing okay, average grades. What kind of kid were you like?
Well, my dad was a police officer. I wasn't a naughty kid. I was terrified of getting in trouble. But no, it was good. I grew up in a strict household. Sort of feared my dad. Sort of tend to spend more time with my mum. But yeah, that looking back now, it was I had a good upbringing. I was quite lucky. We were sort of middle class family, but I had two parents that loved me, and they brought me, my brother, and my sister up really well. And yeah, I just wanted to play sport all the time. I just wanted to be outside and have a kick about, do anything else. Like I said, school really didn't sort of interest me. But looking back now, I regret not. Everyone does when they look back at school, not working harder. But I'm lucky I came from a family that sort of pushed me.
Okay. And in regards to football, did you like join any club, or did you do anything with that? Or was it just like with your mates?
I used to be a pretty good goalkeeper. I keep getting told, I had trials at Reading and things like that. But I mean, I never actually got into an academy. But I always played on. I played on the worst team in the league when I was like really little, sort of 9-10 years old. But being on the worst team in the league made you the best player on the pitch, because instead of it being 20-0, it's only 7 or 8-0, but you learn so much more because you're busy all the time. And as I moved on, I sort of got to 14, 15 and sort of went and joined a better team. And that, you've gone from being really busy in games to literally you're having to kick a few footballs and then maybe make one save, but you have to switch on the whole time. So it's a different mentality.
Yeah.
And yeah, we won loads of stuff. It was great going from one end to the other. I wouldn't have got to where I had done within football if I hadn't have played for the teams that weren't very good and got the experience. But again, I didn't care who I played for. I just wanted to play football or at school, rugby, anything. I remember skiving French lessons to go and just play football in the field with other years, etc. And yeah, I just got in trouble a few times, but my dad did the same before me, so he could never really have a go about it.
Yeah. I think when we get to our age, we kind of forget about our school times. And,
exactly.
And so it was so good, right? And
yeah,
life was easy.
Yeah, you get up in the morning, you didn't have any worries in life. You had to go and sit in a classroom, try not to annoy the teacher. Well, try and annoy her in some cases or him. But yeah, I look back now and my son's obviously going through school and I'm having to fight him to make him realise that, mate, this is so important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure my dad had the same discussions with me.
Yeah.
However many years ago it is now.
All right. So that was a nice insight into little Josh.
Little Josh, yeah.
Little Josh. So you mentioned you wanted to follow in your dad's footsteps and join the military.
Yep.
So was that legitimately the kind of like insight or the reason you joined because you wanted to follow your dad, or did you have a different kind of mindset behind it?
Initially, well, I'd say 90% yes. I remember, I don't know how old I was, 12, 13, but my dad pulled a box of old uniform out of the loft one day and it was like Christmas had come early. I was chucking on all the old Combat 95s and hiding in the neighbour's garden, pretending to be a sniper or whatever. And yeah, I just loved it. I mean, back then, you had Soldier on telly, you had Sharp, remember Sharp with Sean Bean? Used to watch that all the time, and Hornblower, not that I really know much about the Navy, but I used to watch it.
MASH,
yeah. But again, my dad, I grew up, my dad was he loves history. And he used to paint these little soldiers. No, that wasn't for me, but it kept him happy. But that sort of got me into it and watching these sort of programs. And I remember he made me watch a film, the film Waterloo, about the Battle of Waterloo. I mean, it's Christopher Plummer. It's probably 40, 50 years ago now, but he made me do a test afterwards on what had happened, just to see if I'd paid attention. But yeah, no, history at school, back into school, I really took interest in subjects that I liked. So history, PE, technology. I loved making things and building things, but English and French, and I wasn't interested. So that's why you didn't put your full attention into it. But yeah, following in his footsteps, I think I was always destined to go that way. I sort of had a bump in the road with the hairdressing, but also by this point he was a police officer, and I used to be around police officers a lot. So especially in Slough Police Station, there used to be a bar up there, so you go and play snooker in there and stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's even before I joined the army, I always still wanted to try and join the police, but being 17, 18, you're not going to get in, so they want life experience, and what better experience than joining the military?
That's cool. That's cool. So, career office. Do you remember going there?
Yeah, career office. I went to the one in Reading.
Oh, Reading,
my dad took me.
Oh, nice,
yeah.
nice.
I remember there was a barbecue at my house, and there was a few police officers around, because all of them at that point were ex-military. And I remember saying to my dad, I want to join the infantry. I want to join the infantry. I want to be in a parachute regiment and things like this. And he was like, it was actually one of his mates went, don't do that. You'll just get blown up. You just cannon fodder. And look, hindsight, looking back now, cheers for that. Best bit of advice I ever got. But no, it ended up going with my dad to the careers office and followed in his footsteps and joined the Royal Engineers.
When you joined, did you do a barb test? Do you
Is
remember?
that the computer
Yeah,
test?
the computer
Yeah,
thing.
I remember being upstairs doing that thing, and then you had to go away for 2 days, didn't you? One night, 2 days to do initial tests.
Yeah, like fitness
I think
tests,
I went
right?
to Purbright for that. Yeah,
I
basic
went to the
fitness.
pub, right? No, yeah.
Yeah, where they get you to carry some jerry cans. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think, is it bleep test?
bleep test, and
Where
then
you run
they
up and
take
down the gym.
Yeah, they take you to it for a fizz session, sorry, a fitness session. Well, a bit of a thrashing in the gym in the evening, and yeah, do you know what? It was just a bit like, wow, what's this? Because like, I was a fit lad, but I'd never slept in a room with 20 guys before or anything like that. What is this all about? But yeah, it was great. It was different.
And then did you get a list of roles or jobs you could do, or did you know what you wanted to do? Because what was your dad in?
My dad was in the engineers.
He was
Yeah,
engineers?
he's Royal Engineers, but he was a driver and a diver. So
Okay.
he was on pop star wages being a diver, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it was pop star wages back then. But yeah, I didn't, to be honest, I don't even know what trade I had until I got to basic training.
Okay.
It was just, I knew I was joining the Royal
You
Engineers.
just wanted to join the Royal Engineers. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you go in and you meet sort of an LE major, don't you? Or someone to interview you after you've done the 2 days, and it's congratulations, you've passed this, and you think you've won the lottery. Little do you know, this is literally a 2-day insight into the big picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember coming home on the train that night and just buzzing.
Yeah.
It's the first time I think I'd ever been on a train myself as well. It was like you'd get a train into London with mates, etc. But I was going, got to change somewhere else to get to Purbright. It's not exactly the easiest to get to, and just little things like that. It was different. It's taking you outside your comfort zone.
Yeah. So that, what year was that? 2004?
That was 2003, I think.
2003.
Yeah, I
Okay.
literally joined the first week of 2004. I went to basic training.
Got it. Okay. So there we go. Let's talk about that. So where did you do your basic?
Basic training I did at ATR Lichfield.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if it's still there. I don't know what it is now, but
So it is.
Right, okay.
And little insight, I joined at the very beginning of 2000.
right, okay.
And I was the very first group of engineers that tested out Lichfield after Basenborn. So
Okay.
we were still training people at Basenborn.
Yep.
But they had a very, very small group of us that went mixed in with infantry
Okay.
to see what it was like and see if it would work.
Yep.
So Lichfield then blossomed into what it is now, and I do still believe that they train our engineers there.
Okay.
But that was your basic training. So what was that like for you?
Basic training for me was, again, just you're apprehensive when you first go. You don't know what you're going into, but I think I thrived straight away. I loved it. I don't know why. I love being told what to do. It was just right. You're going to get up at 6 a.m. What? Or things like that. Shaving every day and just installing that little bit. I was, like I said, I was never a bad kid, but just adding that bit more discipline in to your routine, etc. I mean, when you get there, there's people from all over the country, all walks of backgrounds, and it's just great. You're all in the same situation as each other, and you all just bond and help each other and push each other. I mean, some guys knew how to do one thing, other guys didn't know how to do another. So you're all working together to overcome issues.
Yeah.
I genuinely loved it. It was hard work. It's hard. It's basic training.
Yeah.
But I mean, the first 2 weeks of TikToking up and down a parade square, you think, what are we doing this for? But again, it's just getting you to listen to words of command and instill discipline into you. And yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Any kind of moment stand out, or any like instructor or anything like that?
Yeah, my instructors, I Corporal McDermott, he's pretty sound actually. I think we were his first intake as well as an instructor. And yeah, the other full screws were pretty good. We had an infantry drill sergeant as well. He was pretty funny. But no, even just the first time you pick up an SA-80 and you're stripping it and things like that, it's just your mind is focused on what you're doing, and you're soaking in the information from your instructors and trying to keep it in your head. Blindfolded, doing it all. It's just repetitive, going through the drills, etc., etc. And you pick it up so quickly because you're in an environment of learning and discipline. And it makes you look back at school and go, if I'd have did this at school, I'd have got a lot further in life, if you know what I mean. But again, I've got no regrets about that. That was who I was when I was young. And yeah, I mean, I was 17 and a half. I think I just made the cut to go into adult entry, not go to Harrogate and go to junior entry. And I loved it. I genuinely love basic training.
Do you remember getting your kit for the first time, getting issued all that? Like,
yeah,
uniform?
you're all getting marched up there in your long johns and your like engineer tops and your silver shadow trainers, and oh god,
do they still have those?
I don't know. Surely they've been them. Horrendous them things. But yeah, I remember I found a box with old pictures of, like, do you know when you go on your sort of adventure training, basic training, you go to Wales for a weekend or whatever, and you're up in the hills and you've all got Ronil literally lycra jogging bottoms on and like the issue Chris Packet rain jackets, and you look like, I don't know, you look like you've just bought all your kit off Amazon and gone up in the hills. You looking back at it now, you look like a right numpty. But again, it's uniformity and everyone needs to look the same and fit. You're all striving for the same goal at the end of the day.
So it sounds like you picked up training pretty quick. Nothing to struggle with or anything?
Struggles in training. No, I think I was lucky. I was in a room with lads that were switched on as well. There were lads that wanted to be there, and there were lads that weren't sure, and there were lads that were just there because they'd been told to be there. But I said the vast majority of us just got on with it. Obviously, you'd always get the fun and games because it's basic training, etc. Like, oh, I don't know, right, that room down there, swap with that room down there. Off you go. You got an hour to get your bed spaces swapped and stuff like that. Or I remember I hadn't ironed the creases in my trousers properly, so I got put on show parade and sent to the guard room or whatever, and you're getting thrashed up and down the ammo dump. But it is all fun and games. That's at the end of the day, it's nothing personal. It's just them trying to install discipline into you.
Yeah, make you a
soldier at the end of the day. So yeah, firing your rifle for the first time, it's like you're thinking this thing's going to be like a shotgun fire, and it's a little ping into your shoulder. Like, oh, that's all right, isn't it?
Or getting your head shaved for the first time, because
I showed up with short hair. My dad had pretty much one on the side, three on top. But
got it.
There were some lads that showed up with some big curls, if you know what I mean. But I remember I watched a documentary about the paras. It was on Amazon or one of them sort of online streaming services, and they say when you go to basic training, everyone shaves their head. It's to take your identity away, because you're not Joe Bloggs from Shrewsbury anymore. You're now Tom, if you know what I mean. You're now Private Bloggs or whoever. You're not. They take your identity away, because at the end of the day, you're being trained to be a soldier.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not pink and fluffy. I know we all say, oh, training's easy now, it's pink and fluffy. But at the end of the day, they're still doing the same things we did back then, just differently.
Yeah. So you finished training.
Yep.
And then from Lichfield, where do you go next?
I think I went home and drunk for 48 hours. No, I think they let you have a weekend off, don't they? And then you report to Jib Barracks. Yeah, I think it was just that you do your pass off and your parents are there, and it's a proud moment in your life.
Your dad came down for that?
Mum, dad, brother, sister. I think my nan, both grandparents came and stuff. But it is a proud day, isn't it?
It is.
You're passing off. You're officially a soldier in the British Army.
What's it? 2.5 months, 3 months of?
I think it's 12 weeks, isn't it? Basic, and then you get thrashed and you turn into non-civvy. You're a soldier.
Yeah.
So. Going home for the first time and stood in the fish and chip shop, stood to attention, trying to order your fish and chips, if you know what I mean. And what am I doing? But it's been installed into you because you've had 12 weeks of being told, if you're not stood to attention, you stood at ease, or I don't know, that's maybe exaggerating it a little bit, but you've changed as a person.
Yeah.
Getting up and making your bed in the morning,
Yeah.
hospital corners. Trying to do that in a duvet is quite hard, but
I remember one of my corporals, before we move on to Jib, saying you'll easily be spotted when you're walking downtown because soldiers march or walk straight
yeah,
rather than slouch. So,
yeah, no hands in your pockets, etc.
So yeah, proud moment.
Proud
Family come
moment. Went
down.
home, drunk for a weekend, and then tipped up at Jib Barracks on the Sunday afternoon, and there you go. 12 more weeks of learning how to blow stuff up for living and then rebuilding it, funnily enough. But I love Jib as well. It's brilliant.
So let's break that down. So both you and I, ex-Royal Engineers, but there's probably many people out there that either don't know anything about the engineers, or think we're reamy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Or there's maybe people listening to this that are contemplating joining the military and maybe join the Royal Engineers. So let's talk about. You could talk about Jib Barracks. What stood out from you? Maybe some highlights.
Yeah, I mean, let's go back to Lichfield. So Lichfield was it's your phase 1 training, isn't it, back then? So it's your 12 weeks of initial learning how to be a soldier. Because at the end of the day, you're a soldier first and an engineer second. So passing that, you then move on to Gibraltar Barracks. Is it 3 RSME?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in 3 Royal School of Military Engineering Regiment, which is in Camberley. Well, Mindley Manor. And you go there and you do another 12 weeks of phase 2 training. So learning how to be a combat engineer at the end of the day. Bridging, blowing stuff up, fencing. I don't know what else you do.
Yeah, I mean, we did
digging. Lots of digging.
Lots of digging. Basics of most trades as well, isn't it? So you learn the basics of bricklaying, carpentry. I remember making cement. I never made cement before.
I've done a bit of roofing before, but I never helped out build a roof. But I don't know if that's still standing. We won't go there.
And I remember because it's phase 2, we're not taught or treated like adults, but you didn't have to march everywhere. It was kind of like half up with your arms rather than
in
like shoulder
step,
high.
but not like you're on the Queen's birthday parade or anything. But you got to you wore the cap badge, didn't you? You didn't have the belt yet.
That's correct. Yeah. So we had the cap badge, beret. And then we were working towards getting our stable belt.
Yeah, I mean, I remember tipping up and my instructor, doghead, 6'4", maroon berry on, built like a fridge. And I thought, wow, look at this guy, if you know what I mean. That's what got me interested in doing P Company straight away, was seeing him. And my other instructor was Ginge Webby, who was the last Corps RSM.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I had another, I think it's Corporal Pay. He was a bit of a, I won't go into that. I thought he was a bit of a knob, but can I say that?
Yeah, we're good. We know, right?
He had more of a chip on his shoulder than the lads with maroon berries on their heads. So But again, back onto Jib. Again, getting there, you've been through training with all these guys originally at Lichfield. Now you're going with the same guys to Gibraltar Barracks. I think we had a few extras put into our troop. But yeah, you get there and I think the first day's a PFT, and I think it's the quickest one I've ever done in my career, if you know what I mean. 7 minutes or whatever it was.
Wow.
Happy days, this is going to be easy. But again, like you said, you're not treated as an adult yet. So you still, one day you're doing things well, and the next day they'll just thrash you into the ground.
Yeah.
Funnily up and down a bridging site or whatever. But I loved it. Again, just got there and you're just soaking in the information. And I was quite lucky. I lived near Jib as well by that point, and you were getting your weekends off. So every other weekend you were going home and you just felt, I don't know, I just completely changed as a person. Gone out, that lad who used to go out and just get absolutely off your head for the sake of it. I just go out and have a few beers and enjoy myself now.
Yeah. Was there any particular part of combat engineer training that stood out for you, or like an exercise or a story from it that you remember quite well?
Well, no one loves digging 8-man battle trenches or whatever they are with a little, what they call entrenching tool. Do you know what? It was just, you were getting taken out your comfort zone again, weren't you? You've been pushed in basic training. Now you're being pushed even more in. I think our final exercise, it was a week digging in on near Farnborough Airfield. And you're going through your bridging and all that sort of stuff. I wouldn't say there's anything bad. I got thrashed a few times, but everyone gets thrashed a few times. Yeah. I remember when we were doing our bridging, do you know when hit the pins out the bottom of a Bailey bridge or whatever they're called, LSB. I can't remember.
It's Bailey. I think it's Bailey Bridge when we were in.
And you had the 2 pins at the bottom that secured the bottom, and someone had knocked one of them out when they weren't meant to, and this panel fell off, and no one would own up to it, and it was like, just put your hand up.
Yeah. Because it was a group punishment, right?
Well, it was just looking around at people going, someone just own up, because we're going to get thrashed whatever happens. And right, yeah, it was me. And you can see the full screw looking at me going, was it you? It was me. Right, off, if you know what I mean. But otherwise, it's one of the ones you just got to take it for the team.
So you were one to do that?
Well, I wouldn't say one to do it all the time, but it was just, if you've done something wrong, and I try and instill that into Jensen now, if you've messed up, life's so much easier if you just put your hand up and go, yeah, I might have made a mistake there. But we'd have been thrashed all day until whoever it was would have put their hand up. But we got to bear it. Just someone own it. I'll do it. I wouldn't say I'd do that for everything, but yeah, it's one of them.
You remember building bridges? So
building bridges was all right. MGBs, yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Did they, when you went through? I mean, it's only 3 years after I went through, but the Hilti bolt gun, like things like that.
Yeah, learn how to start a generator. The old Countryman, where you got to wind it up like
and then pull it out before it goes.
Yeah, snap your wrist off. Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Your confidence charge for the first time. The first time you get a bit of P4, det in, and you light your safety fuse, and you've got to walk away slowly. I loved all that sort of stuff, but it's like school. You've got things you like and things you don't like. That's where I think I not fell in love, but I definitely geared more towards the combat side of engineering to the sort of construction side and things like that.
Yeah.
And again, my full screw at the time, Doghead, it was one of them ones where you just look up to him and not I want to be you, but I want one of the maroon berries, and that's what got me massively into wanting to go on to P Company. So
you were quite fit, like
I was one of the fittest in that intake of troops. I mean, I was 17 and a half, young whippet, and passed out from Jib, loved it, and I went straight on to P Company.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. So I remember you get the old like briefings where you get like Hereford come in and brief you, and SB and SRR and all that stuff, and 5-9. The one brief you never got was the 9 Squadron one, or 2-3 had been formed by then. And I was like, I was really keen on like trying to do the 5-9 course and stuff. And then I had that at Lichfield, and then having a full screw who's 9 Squadron, that's gone out the window. I want to go and do P Company. So yeah, literally, I think I finished Jib in the July, and they gave us 2 weeks, 3 weeks summer leave, and I went straight from there, straight up to Catterick.
Okay. Did you get told stories and stuff? Was that what like ignited it to be what you wanted to do? Like what kind of like made that 9 Squadron itch want to be?
Obviously you stand out in a crowd because you've got a different colour lid on. But it wasn't that. It was just, I just think you got a bit more of an aura when you're walking around. You look, you've been through Jib. You always notice the 5-9 full screws or the 9 Squadron ones before.
Yeah, you do.
Anyone else? I don't know. When you're on exercise, they just looked like soldiers. Like the kit was better than the other full screws. Got mess tins hanging off his burger and things like that, if you know what I mean. Or I don't know. The minute I just wanted to be different.
Okay.
I wanted to be in the engineers. I mean, I wanted to join the parachute regiment before, but my old man obviously said, "Don't do that. You just be cabin fodder."
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to do something different. And yeah, I don't know. You just get that bug. You want to do something. You're going to do it at the end of the day. That's the type of person I am. If someone says you can't do something, we'll come on to that later. But yeah, I don't know. I signed up literally. I did summer leave. Went up to Ripon, did pre-power in Ripon, 4 weeks of... I found pre-power harder than P Company.
Okay.
And yeah, well, I just loved it, mate.
So for anybody that never did P Company, never done any of the kind of...
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them elite, but they're another level.
Yeah.
Because I was trying out for Army Diver, so, you know...
arduous course.
Arduous course, yeah. What does that look like? What does it feel like if someone does want to have that mindset of going for the next level?
Well, so relief. I've passed JIB. I've got my Royal Engineer staple belt. Again, that's another proud day. Your parents will come to your pass off, and you do that little boat assault onto the beach at Hawley Hard, and you're sprinting around because you think you look really cool. And at the end of the day, you look like idiots running around a shingle beach. But yeah, did that, went on summer leave, and I then literally get your first posting, didn't you? And mine was to go to pre-para in Ripon at 5-1. So 5-1 is the other parachute squadron in the engineers. So went up there, literally. I'm probably the newest person in the army up there. There was me and another lad I went training with, and got up there, and you're all still in all your basic training kit. Everyone else has got Gucci boots and things like that, and I didn't have a clue what I was going into. But got up there, just got my head down and worked hard. I didn't realise the first day I got up there, I was like racing the PTI. He was taking the session. So the first day was just a thrashing, just to see who's there and try and whittle people out. But he was running us up and down these hills, and I was just jogging next to him thinking, this is easy. What I didn't realise was I was pushing the PTI, so he was going harder, so more people were going off the back. You see, because I got pulled that later that afternoon by one at full screw, normal engineer full screw, and he went, mate, just slow down, don't race him. All right. I was okay. Sorry, I didn't realise.
So he was actually trying for.
Yeah, he was trying for pre-para as well. And yeah, it was. P company was hard because I didn't. Not pre-para was hard. I knew it was going to be hard, but I didn't realise I was going to go into it. They literally, the way I was always taught was, you get pre-para is going to be hard because the engineers don't want to send anyone that's not going to pass P company.
Okay.
So they will thrash you on pre-para. So when you get to P company, it's not going to be easy, but you're expected to pass.
Yeah.
Unless you get injured, or I don't know, you just decide you don't want to do it, but. Yeah, that 3.5, 4 weeks, it was hard, but again, good, loved it. Just got the bug for it. Don't get me wrong, there's some days you wake up in the morning, you go, I can't be bothered today. Oh, my feet are hurting or this and that. But again, being around guys who'd been in the army, seniors as well, officers, full screws, guys who've been in the army a lot longer than you were picking up stuff straight away. You were thriving off information. I always find that you're always looking at each other in the army. Why has he got that bit of kit? Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like I like that. But then you go out and buy this kit and you're skint for the month. But yeah, again, it was just you're just sucking in all that knowledge, taking it all in, and trying to instill it into what you're doing. So yeah, always don't be at the front of the pack. Just this is where I learnt the term "be the grey man." Just sit in the pack and just keep your mouth shut and be the grey man, and you get left alone then.
So is pre-para just fizz?
Pre-para is literally fizz. I mean, you do map reading lessons and stuff like that, but it was 2 fizz sessions a day. I mean, to be honest, it was that long ago, I can't really remember. I just remember it being hard.
Yeah, okay.
But you're going out, you're doing the sort of P company events. And I remember the 10 miler. Your 10 miler, I think you have to do it in under an hour and a half. I can't remember the exact time, so it's hour 50.
What, a run?
10 miler, Bergen.
Oh, Bergen.
Bergen, weapon, a tab.
A tab, okay.
Yeah. I think it's had under an hour 50, but I think on pre-prep we did like an hour 40, hour 45. It was nails, but again, just, when you've done these sort of things, it's just you feel great. Milling for the first time, it's good fun where you're just boxing and stuff, but. Yeah, again, I just turned 18, so I was fit as a fiddle, didn't have a care in the world. I'd got a full-time job. I had a career now. You're earning pretty decent money. I mean, it's not the best, but it was a lot more than I was earning being a hairdressing apprentice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, life was definitely on the up. I'd made a choice. I'd committed to it, and life was going on a pretty decent trajectory.
Good. So then you pass
pre-para? Passed pre-para. And I think 7. I can't remember the exact numbers, but you go from pre-para, weekend off, and you tip up in Catterick for P company. All cap badges there now. Literally full 120 blokes from different branches of the army. And yeah, week 1, day 1, you go out, you do your 8-mile CFT, combat fitness test, Bergen tab.
Yeah.
I think you're on the Trinasium then. And then it's was it ICFT, the 2 miler? Is it ACFT now? I don't know what they're called.
ACFT, yeah, I think it's
a 2 miler full kit, Bergen rifle. I think you've got to do it in 18 minutes. And this is where the PTI just went. He did the first mile, I think, in about 6 minutes. It's like, what? So, yeah, you're sprinting up. And this is where I realised how cutthroat P Company is. So I came in pretty sort of well under the time, 16 minutes. And then you could hear him counting down when it got close to 18. So 17, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. Someone's diving across the line, fail. And people got sent home because they didn't do it.
Wow.
It was, right, okay, I need to properly switch on here. But yeah, again, and then it's just sort of the first 2.5 weeks are just getting thrashed and the land and nod and stuff, where you pull into this little valley and there's 4 instructors stood on the top of the hill and you're literally running up and down around them, and then the sergeant major will run off the other way and you've got to chase him down. And yeah, again, it was just one of the ones, just be the grey man, get in the middle, get your head down. And yeah, I remember one of the days, I realised that some people were cheating as well. So you get your Bergens weighed, and then it was a medic actually. He had a big 5 litre water, what they call the old bottles in his Bergen. Get his Bergen weighed, take the lid off and kick it over. I was thinking, you sneaky. Yeah. But anyway, it's not someone's place to grass anyone up, is it? But yeah. No, I again, it was nails, and most nights I remember getting there and the colour man from the P Company staff was like, right, lads, best bit of advice I can give you, eat like a lion. Just eat. Just keep eating. Eat all the time. So you were going in the scoff house, and yeah, every morning waking up, it was one of them ones where I listened to another podcast recently, Jay Morton did, SES Who There Wears, and he talks about it when he's on selection. People jacking in the morning, it sort of gives you energy. It's sort of, well, if he's jacking, I'm still here. I must be doing all right here. The life gets sucked out of them and it comes into you and whoever's left. And by the end of it, I went into test week, so 2.5 weeks, and it's test week of the 8 events or whatever it is on P Company. And yeah, I went into it knowing I was going to pass. I felt it. I felt, obviously you're nervous still, but I just felt I'm fit, I'm still here. The one thing I was worried about was the milling, because I've never milled before, but milling's literally where it's a minute of controlled aggression, just hitting someone opposite you. And yeah, I won that as well. I did all right. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So, you pass?
Yeah, test week, nails, passed everything. And yeah, just it's one of them ones where you're standing on the parade square at the end of the week and you're not known by a name, you've got a P Company number.
Oh, have you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you got your name across your chest, but everything, you've got a number on your shoulder, and it was all in lightweights as well, the old green lightweights.
Right.
You got your number on your leg as well. And yeah, your number's called, I think I was 72, and it's number 72. Sir, come to attention, pass. And you stand at ease, like, thank God for that.
Nice.
But you do get the one number, I don't know, 37, for example. Sir, fail. And you have to march off the parade square.
Really?
Yeah, and stand at the side.
Even after all that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a great feeling. Because you're getting your marine lid. You're gonna go down to Bryce. You're gonna learn to jump out of an aeroplane, and you're gonna get paid £5 extra a day for it. That's beer tokens for the weekend. It was again, it was another proud moment in life.
When did you get given your lid then? So they've called your name or your number.
Yeah.
They've said pass. Did you get given it then? Or?
No, it's sort of you just, or did you have it in your pocket? I can't remember. You either, because you're walking around with the old green sort of.
Or the crap hat.
No, not. I don't ever say that. I've never called anyone that. But it's sort of like the old neck scarf, but you fold it up into a hat. I can't remember what they're called. God, my memory's gone.
Yeah.
But but that comes off, and you might put your lid on then. I don't know. That's what they do now. That's what they did on that documentary.
Okay.
Mate, I can't remember what I did yesterday after time.
And then there's a slightly different stable belt as well, isn't there? Do you get given that?
Yeah. So I mean, so you passed, but on the final day, it's your 5 mile stretcher race, I think. And usually all your regimental COs will come up, all the RSMs, and they're running with you, because at the end of the day, they need blokes to pass. Okay. And I remember the old 2-3 RSM. he was running next to me, and then obviously stand up, you pass at the end, and afterwards you're back in at P Company lines, and Sergeant Major come round, and there was, I think out of 120 people started P Company, only 27 passed that time.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, I was like, happy days, passed, or 27 or 37, but it was quite a low number. And the RSM, I think there was 5 or 6 engineers that passed. 4 were going to 5, 1 or 2 of us were going to 9 Squadron. And yeah, literally finished P Company. I think he sent me on a week's leave, the RSM. He went, go and have a week off. Am I not meant to report on Monday? He went, no, I'll ring the 2IC now. So they give me a week off, and then ended up reporting in Aldershot a week later to an empty barracks because they were in Iraq.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what do you do after that? Do you do any other courses before you get into your first regiment, or?
No, so I tipped up at 9 Squadron for a month. You get, when you talk about different belts there, you got it's the engineer staple belt, but with a Pegasus on it instead of a cat badge.
Yeah.
And you get issued all your badges, your regimental insignia. And yeah, I spent 4 weeks there. Then I had to clear because I had to go to Chatham and do my trade training. Yeah, A2 is it? A3, A2? I don't know. Can't remember.
Chatham?
Yeah, Chatham trade training. One RSME, but
yeah.
it's classed as your A3, isn't it? Or A2?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, went there, did 6 months of learning how to paint and plaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your trade?
Building and structural finishing.
Well, there you go.
I think I literally just got drunk for 6 months and did fizz. But no, you know what? It was great learning a bit of a trade, tiling, painting, sign writing, all that sort of stuff. But that is your phase 3 training, isn't it, of your engineer career? But yeah, it was good. It was you're getting into the army habit of work hard, play hard, aren't you? You're working hard during the day, but you're out at night doing a bit of fizz and then go and have a couple of beers with your mates.
Yeah. So you're still training hard. You've passed PE Company.
Yeah, I passed PE Company. I had Marine Lid. I hadn't done my jumps course yet, so I didn't have parachute wings on my arms yet. So you were classed as a penguin, a flightless bird.
Okay.
So yeah, but no, it was great. You get to Chatham and there's other lads with maroon lids on that you start to get to know. There's quite a few penguins there where you'd passed P Company but hadn't got your jumps. So yeah, I mean, it was great doing your trade course because you are learning, you're getting civilian qualifications at the end of the day, but that's not really what I joined the army for.
No. Sounds like P Company was where you wanted to be.
Yeah, well, obviously, I wanted to go more down the combat route.
Yeah.
Of explosive method of entry and things like that.
Yeah.
I loved all that. I didn't really like filling HESCO and stuff, but
Yeah.
no one does. But no, it was just, you're in a good career at the end of the day. You're doing as you're told. They're sending you on a course. They're paying you for you to be educated. So when you're there, you're going to work hard. You're going to keep fit, but I'm going to enjoy myself at the same time, going out at night. You're 18, 19 years old. You're young, free, you're single. You're getting paid a decent wage. Crack on.
Yeah. So you complete Chatham, get your trade under your belt.
Yep.
And then you go back
to Aldershot, back to 9 Squadron, and they're in Iraq again.
All right.
Yeah. Or I'm not sure where first. They were in Iraq when I got back to Aldershot. But yeah, I mean, because they were in Iraq, we managed to get on our jumps courses pretty quickly. So
Okay.
I think there were 6 of us that were classed as penguins. All went to Bryce Norton, jumping out of do your week's ground training, then you're jumping out static line out of a C-130. Brilliant course, loved it. I mean, I think it's only meant to be a two-week course, but we ended up doing over a month because I just couldn't get airplanes.
Right.
So you were literally ringing up an answer phone in the morning. Yeah, no jumps today. Cool, I'll stay at home then. Yeah, I mean, getting your parachute wings, that's great.
Yeah, what is that like? Because had you ever jumped out of a plane before?
No, never jumped out of a plane before. And I remember my first ever jump, you get given your stick numbers. Right, you're number 1. All right, I'm first in the door. Brilliant. So if you're flying in over Weston you're taking off we had to fly from Lynham because Bryce Norton was being resurfaced at the time. And you're always lobbing onto Weston on the green. Jumping out of an airplane.
Okay.
And I remember they say, you see the A34, red light will come on. When you cross it, green light will come on, go. And it was one of them. Right, there's the A34, red light's on. Oh, here we go.
What did you feel? Can you remember that first
obviously,
jump?
you're nervous. It's that you're not sure whether you want to, like, you're not sure if you're scared or excited. It's that adrenaline. Like, I've got to go, because if I don't go, I've failed the course. So it's you refusing the door, you're off. And I've done all that P company pre-pro and stuff. I've got to jump out of this airplane. And yeah, you mean the minute the green light come on, there was no hesitation. You're getting pushed out the door anyway, but it's go and you're out. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Check canopy. Right, I've got to shoot. Cool, there's the ground. Happy days. Wow, this is awesome. That's with no kit. Literally just a parachute on, and then the more jumps you do, they're adding more kit to you. Okay. Military parachuting, it's not, I wouldn't say it's fun, because at the end of the day, you stood on a C-130 when you're fully trained with your body weight strapped to you, and Power Edge giving you a load of mortar bombs on top of that and stuff. But again, it's what you get paid to do. It's your job.
I'm guessing you learned how to do all of that on the ground.
Before, yes, they don't just take you up and throw you out of plane.
Because I've never done the train. I don't know.
So you spend a couple of days sort of learning to land properly, rolling around mats at Bryce Norton.
Right.
And then you're in the swings, like parachute swings, so it's like bungees, and you've got the harness and stuff on. So you're learning to pull your rigging lines and get yourself out of twists. The amount of blokes that jump out and they're in twists, you've got to start kicking out and learning to drop your kit. What happens if a parachute comes underneath you and you get an air steal, so you'll drop. You taught all the basics, then you're taken up, thrown out, and you love it straight away.
Is it static line they call it?
Static line, yeah. So you're hooked into the plane. So the minute you go out the side doors, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, you check canopy. If it's not there, reserve. But it'll be open within 4 seconds of getting out of plane.
Okay. Oh. I don't know if I'd ever want to do that, but you trained for it, and I guess after the first jump, you knew you could do it, and you're like, right, I'm ready for the next one. Yeah,
I mean, again, you just want to get up there and jump. It's just good fun. Yeah. Like I said, until they start strapping loads of kit to you, and you're getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and you're sitting in the plane. And then they start, obviously, you jump at 1,000 feet for your first one, and then they get you down to 600, and you're out.
Right.
Chutes open, and you're on the ground within a minute of getting out the door.
Wow.
Because in the day, paratroopers are most vulnerable when they're in the air, so they want to get you out and down on the ground so you're ready to fight. But it's not fun though when you're doing brigade lobs and stuff like that after you've got back to your unit and you're fully qualified and you've literally got so much kit strapped to you.
Yeah.
And they get you up in the plane, I think it's 40 minutes before you're due, you're hooked on, going through all your checks, and you just stood up, blokes throwing up everywhere because the plane's flying low level. It's not the best experience. You can't wait to get out of the plane by that point. You literally cannot wait to get out of the plane.
So how long is jump course?
Jump course, I think it was 8 jumps you have to do. 8 jumps, a night, so 1 night jump and 2 sim sticks. So sim sticks where you go out both sides of the plane at the same time.
Okay.
And the idea is like one goes, next one goes. So you don't meet behind, but you always get blokes going out at the same time and coming around. But it's to try and keep parachutes spread out, because like I said, if you're too close to each other and one goes over the top of the other, you'll get an air steal and the chute will just collapse and blokes will be falling. I mean, my first ever brigade lob, there were blokes with broken pelvises, and I think we jumped in. The winds were a bit iffy, and I remember someone's kit. So when you've jumped, you check round you, make sure there's no one near, and then you're looking below and you drop your kit, which is on a 30-foot rope that's below you.
Okay.
So that hits the ground first, and then you land. I remember kit falling because ropes have snapped, and it's mad.
Wow.
But good fun as well. At the end of the day, you're doing your job. You're getting paid to do this.
Yeah. So that sounds like, if I math this properly, a year and a half-ish of training complete. You've done...
So 6 months basic and phase 2, a couple of months on P company, a year and a half, I'd say, probably by this point. So 19 years old, probably. Yeah.
So you're about 19 by now. All training complete, and we're then on to like real-time service.
Yeah. So I think, when did I get back to? The end of 2000 or mid 2005. I think I got back to Aldershot. August. Maybe 2000. Yeah, 2005. I think I got back to 9 Squadron in Aldershot. And they were in Iraq. So we were the rear party. I think some of the lads managed to get out who had just got their jumps, but because we're Penguins, we didn't get out. So yeah, it was welcoming them back and just going into your regimental life, exercise, training, kit maintenance, etc. Work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
Especially being in Aldershot, it was definitely work hard, play hard. But yeah, I mean, I remember being told in the January of 2006 that I think it was in 1 troop, and 3 troop had some slots available for. They were deploying to Afghanistan on Herrick 4, and they needed volunteers. I'll go straight away. Happy days. This is what you join the army for at the end of the day, to get away. So yeah, April or March 2006, first deployed to Afghanistan.
Okay. How'd you find it? What was your thoughts on that?
How did I find it? It was weird, because obviously you knew what you were going into. Well, we were going out to disrupt the opiate trade, weren't we? And just boots on the ground, etc. And yeah, we were there for 6 weeks and nothing happened. You were going out on patrols with just like sunglasses and your floppy obviouses on, if you know what I mean. Your sort of jungle hats. And yeah, the locals were all around you. I was in Gresh with A Company 3 Power, and you're going out, you're in schools playing football, etc. And yeah, it was just like, okay, we Phil Hesco and we go on patrols and we eat and we train, and it's going to be like this for 6 months. And because we were attached to 5-1, we got the rubbish end of the R&R stick, and we got sent home first. So we did 6 weeks in country, sent home. R&R 2 weeks, loads of money in the bank, where he pop starred it, and then back in the desert. And it was as if someone had just flicked a switch and it just all kicked off one day.
Really?
I think 3 guys died. I remember there being an artillery captain who died, and a few others, 7 RHA captain. And it was like, we'd gone from nothing happening to it all just kicking off. Yeah, I think a week or so after we got back off R&R, my 2 sections of the 9 Squadron troop were flown into Musakala to help PF out Pathfinders, because they were trapped in there, just to try and build some field forts and some sangers, just to make the compound a bit more secure. And I think we were meant to be there a couple of days, ended up being there nearly a month.
Right.
But I refer back to the best and worst experiences of my life. It was just mad. It's just people shooting at you, you're shooting back. It's conventional war fighting at the end of the day. Crazy. But again, this is what you've been trained to do. I remember the first time I ever got shot at, it was like, and you literally, your training kicks in straight away, and you return fire, and you do what you've been taught to do. You're looking after the bloke next to you, your left and your right, and you are working together as a team. Yeah, it was just mad. Yeah. It's exhilarating. It's just, again, the adrenaline. It's words can't describe how you feel. And yeah, I mean, that one night, the guy next to me, a guy called Terry, he took a ricochet off the top of the wall, and the round lodged into his P helmet.
Okay.
And he just had this 7.62 round stuck in the front of his P helmet.
7.62.
Yeah. Again, just words can't describe what you're going through. It's just great. But again, you're around PF, who are a bit more. They're top boys. There's no attitude there whatsoever. You're there to help them. They're there. They know you need to help them, and you just got on with them like a house on fire. Some of our lads ended up getting like seconded to PF because they had a few casualties. And yeah, we had a great time with them. It was good fun.
Nice.
Fun but scary at the same time.
Yeah.
So
especially being first tour.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was 19 years old. I had a crow pipe, the old LSW. I was the proper newie. What am I doing with this? If you know what I mean. Any chance you get hold of one of the GPMGs, you would. So yeah, but referring back to, I mean, when I say it's one of the worst experiences of my life, when I got back from Afghanistan, found out that a lad I'd gone to school with, a guy called Luke McCulloch, who was serving with the Royal Irish, he unfortunately lost his life in Sangin. I remember the day. I remember the op minimised being called, and I remember all that sort of stuff. I didn't have a clue it was him, though. It wasn't until I got back to the UK that I realised that he unfortunately got hit by a mortar. And I think the story from what I've been told goes is the doc managed to keep him alive on the ground for 6 hours, but they just couldn't get a Chinook in to get him out. And by the time they did, he obviously passed away, unfortunately. So yeah, best and worst experience of my life.
Mm.
I've got quite a few of them, good and
Yeah,
bad experiences. But no, at that point in my life, being a young 19-year-old lad who hadn't had his eyes open to the world, I went from a boy to a man pretty quickly on that tour. So I ended up being Musicala, Sangin. I was in Sangin for a while. That was pretty hairy. Nowzad. I'm stood on the tallest building in Nowzad trying to put sandbags on a roof, getting shot at every 5 minutes. It's like, what am I doing this for? But again, good and bad. Working with a Power Reg as well. I love doing that. And yeah, nothing will ever replicate that for that initial 6 months for me. It was just, like I said, it turned me from a boy to a man.
And then you return back. So I'm guessing that's like end of 2006.
So I think because we went out early, we were the first like guinea pigs to come back and fly back to Cyprus, spend a day on the beach, get drunk,
right? Yeah.
Fly home the next day, just to get it out your system. What's it called? What do they call it?
Begins.
Starts with an R, doesn't it?
It does. That's what I'm thinking. It's not reflection or recuperation.
I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah. But anyway, they stick you on a beach in Cyprus for 24 hours, give you a load of beer. And not just a normal beach. This is like a secluded military beach.
Yes.
They're not going to send you to Ayia Napa or anywhere like that. But yeah, that was good. It was just one of the ones where you could just wind down a little bit and have a few beers. Any wrongs get put right between yourselves. And yeah, I think we'd had sort of 40 of us on a 200-seater plane to fly home. And yeah, you were home. You're back in the UK. Tour done.
Yeah.
Got back, and this is where 2-3, so 9 Squadron and 5-1 were part of 2-3 Engineer Regiment, and they'd moved 5-1 had moved from Ripon, and 9 Squadron had moved from Aldershot to Woodbridge, which is just north of Colchester. Brand new barracks. So You've gone from these old dilapidated blocks in Aldershot to brand new swanky barracks. I think we spent 2 days there, and they sent us on leave for 7 weeks. Great.
Was that like new single man room type?
Yeah,
thing?
the Z-type stuff.
Z-type,
so yeah, you've gone from living in a 4-man bunk to this. Got my own toilet and shower. That's great.
Feels weird, doesn't it? When
I don't know. It was great having your own room and stuff, but I also liked being around the boys, just having a laugh and a few beers, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's good and bad. It's like anything in life. It's good and bad. You new stuff's great, but don't forget what you had before. So yeah.
So you go on leave. Then what's on the horizon next?
So leave, 7 weeks, got back, and then I went and did my Cadre in, I think it was the January of 2008. Yeah, so start of 2008, I did my Cadre. I think I came second on that, so I got promoted to Lance Corporal.
Nice.
Yeah, that was nails. But again, it's one of the ones you just get your head down and work hard. Got promoted Lance Jack, so a bit more responsibility now. Wow. Bit more money as well, which is quite nice. But yeah, but did that, and then we started pre-deployment training to go back to Afghan again in 2008 on Herrick 8. Yeah, deployed.
When was this, in 2008?
Yeah, summer tour, 2008.
Summer.
Yeah,
Okay.
so did the summer, Herrick 4 was the summer tour in 2006. And then we redeployed in 2008. We were going back into a place called Sangin, Sangin DC. And when I left there in 2006, there was a big op to put a bridge in to connect Fob Rob and Sangin. This bridge was going to be able to span the river. You know the old engineered bridges on the pontoons with a motor on?
Yeah.
Built it, and it went out and just bottomed out. It was like, that ain't going to work, is it? I mean, whose idea was that? But hey. But yeah, when we left Sangin that day, there were rounds rattling off the side of the Chinook, and it was just we didn't think we were getting out, but the Chinooks came back, picked us up, and we managed to get out. So I thought, right, going into Sangin, this is going to be hairy again. Ran off the back of the Chinook to be met by the Royal Marine sunbathing, going, right, this has changed a bit, hasn't it? But yeah, by this point, there was still sort of conventional hand-to-hand fighting going on, but this is where the IEDs were starting to creep in, and the Taliban's tactics were changing.
Okay. Any kind of like stories from that you want to share?
So I'd gone from, I don't know.
So you're Lance Jack by now as well?
Yeah, Lance Jack. So there was a section of 9 Squadron lads that went into Sangin to help. Sort of just I think we were attached to the Royal Irish. Yeah, Royal Irish. Just to help them with patrols, any sort of combat engineering they needed. And yeah, I think I think I did 5 months in Sangin, and then got sent home on R&R. Again, it was kinetic still, but it was nowhere near as what it was on Herrick 4.
Okay.
But guys were standing, guys were getting smashed by suicide bombers, IEDs. Did that, and then I think by the end of Herrick 8, we did that big turbine move where we had to take the turbine up to the dam in Kajaki. And that was the end of that tour, really. I think we did that, got back, and didn't really do anything else after that.
So that quite a big job?
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole brigade push got stopped to get this turbine from Kajaki to, from Kandahar to Kajaki. I mean, I think it was over 120 vehicles involved. And
wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big publicised op, but it was pretty boring, to be honest. Nothing really happened. It was 10 days just sitting in a Pinzgauer.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
oh.
So, I mean, but again, you're out there at the end of the day to try and improve the country.
Yes.
And to improve the country, they need power. And this turbine's been sat in Kajaki for God knows how many years. It needs in Kandahar. It needs to get to Kajaki. So that's what needs to happen. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
And we did it. Got back to Bastion, and again, next thing you know, you're on a beach in Cyprus, drinking beer again and putting the world to right. I think I came home with a black eye that day. But,
oh, no.
Yeah.
So that's end of 2000?
That's into 2008. That sort of 6-month tour flew by, came back, and I did have a moment where I sort of contemplated leaving, because again, at the end of the day, I wanted to join the police, but what was I then? 21, 22? I still thought I was a bit too young. And yeah, I think I went on. By this point, I'd done all my sort of B1 course as well. So your next level of combat engineer training.
Got it.
Your A1.
So you kind of like topped out.
Yeah, you topped out everything, and
yeah.
I ended up at the start of 2010 going to JIB and doing my JCC, so your junior commander course, so you can get promoted to full screw. Did that, and then while I was there, I did the instructor assessment week to work out whether you could go to JIB and be a full screw and teach recruits. I passed that, and I thought, happy days, I'm going to go to JIB. When you're at JIB, you know, from the guys I know that have been there as full screws, you get given a calendar of what you're doing for 2 years.
Yes.
Whereas when you're in your regiment, you don't know what you're doing tomorrow. You think you're planning your life. No, you're going on exercise next week. Oh, cheers, nice one. But that's the field army at the end of the day. I passed the instructor assessment week and was told, we'd like to have you at JIB, but 2-3 want you to go and do another tour.
Okay.
And this is when I found out I was going to be a 2IC in a Royal Engineer search team.
Okay.
So again, by this point, IED's just going through the roof in Afghanistan.
So did you have to go and do a search course?
Yeah. So on Herrick 8, there were 2 search teams.
Right.
In the whole of Helmand Province, 2 Royal Engineer search teams. I think it was on Herrick 13 we were going back on in 2010. So the winter tour, there were going to be 20 search teams. So, I mean, I know whole squadrons that were retasked to do just search.
Okay.
Wasn't very happy about it, but what can you do? If at the end of the day, this is what you're going to do, you've got to go and do it. So, when I did the course, we all passed. It was about that time I found out I was going to be a dad as well.
Was it?
So, that was a bit of a shock. But, again, you're happy. Wow, life's changing. You're growing up, if you know what I mean. I'm going to be a full screw. I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to deploy again.
Nice. So, end of 2010, you said?
So,
you did
I was
search.
meant to deploy in September of 2010.
Right.
But Jensen, my little boy, he came along at the end of October. So we were meant to put at the start of October. So I got delayed going out by 4 weeks.
Okay.
So he was born, and then 10 days after he was born, I deployed to Afghanistan to meet up with my team to find out they had a new 2IC. So I was just stuck in Bastion for a couple of weeks like that. Oh my God, pulling my fingers out.
Right.
Because when you're in Afghanistan, the one place you don't want to be is stuck in Bastion. It's great to be there for a day or two to get some R&R in, but it's just too many people walking around with Sergeant Major sticks, and it's just like getting told off because your hair's too long. It's not what you're out there for.
And it's massive camp as well, isn't it?
Honestly, when we first deployed in 2006, I remember landing in a C-130 into the desert with firemen staggering on the runway, as in the Air Force firemen. I don't know what else they do, but no disrespect. But yeah, and there were literally, it was the cook's tent was a Land Rover, the old Land Rover chef tents with the old trailer is the cooker.
Yeah.
One of them, and like 10 tents in the desert. It was mental. I mean, you could see in the distance the new camp being built, but it was just like, wow.
And by that time, was it by 2010? I don't remember. It's the size of Reading, isn't it?
Yeah, so
it's insane.
It's the size of Reading because you had Bastion 1, Bastion 2, and then is it Tombstone, which was the American camp with the A&A.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And yeah, I remember going to the American PX once and on a quad bike. It took you half an hour to get there. What is this? But yeah, no, I deployed. Spent about a month in Bastion. Couldn't wait to get out. But again, be careful what you wish for. Finally got to Karnaka to meet up with my old search team. So the lad who replaced me got pulled out, and I got sent in. And yeah, I think I did. Got there working with the Irish Guards, with Major Sanjay, brilliant officer, loved him. He just wanted to go out and fight the Taliban all the time. It was brilliant. Yeah, got there and did 2.5 weeks, and then New Year's Eve 2010, I ended up deciding to stand on an IED.
Okay. Do you want to?
Yeah, happy.
Share? You
I
want to
mean,
share
I'll
that?
go into it. So yeah, we were. So New Year's Eve 2010, we were going out on a dawn patrol. So you're all there. The idea of this patrol was to go sort of a mile down a wadi, leave a section of Irish Guards in a compound with all their bombs, bullets, grenades, all that sort of stuff. So the Taliban would fight them, and the rest of the village would get on with its normal daily sort of living. So yeah, we'd done a few of these ops where you'd go out, just take over a compound, and funny enough, the fighting all took place over there. The local village got on with what it was doing. So yeah, I think there was a company of Irish Guards, and we were attached because we were going to clear the compound. Yeah, I remember ECM on, MVGs on, cocking your weapons, etc., checking each other over, and you're leaving the back gate in single file. We sort of stuck to this main road, dust road. Guy at the front's obviously got a metal detector. And just following the silooms or the spray on the floor. Yeah, it was a really, I don't know why, it was an eerie morning. Something just didn't seem right to me. Obviously in the distance you can see the hills and the lights just coming over it, all the dews coming off the ground. The dogs are barking, giving away your position. And the local call to prayer came on as we were patrolling, and to me it just sends like a shiver down your spine. It just, yeah, something just didn't seem right that morning. And everyone says that. It seemed like that every morning, to be honest, but I don't know why. But yeah, I'd say about 10 minutes into the patrol, 10, 20 minutes, and the front of the patrol was just a massive bang and a dust cloud come out of the ground. And you knew what had happened straight away. The guy at the front had stood on an ID, Lamin Mani. I don't know if you know him.
I do know that,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, again, we all knew what happened straight away, and we kicked into it. We just went and found a field and started clearing it for a HLS. We could see the compound we were going into, but we hadn't cleared it yet. So I think the Chinook ended up landing in that compound anyway, but we cleared the HLS. It didn't land there. And yeah, he got put on the Chinook and he was sent out, and it was just right. He's gone back to normal. And my job that day, I was doing a bit of emo, just clear some walls so guys could get easy access into a compound. Blew one to get at, so we got in the compound, and then the far end I emoed a wall, so half a bar mine. I was a bit too close to that when it blew me over. My ears were ringing after that, but yeah, did that. And then the idea was to just walk out, pick a random point there was a sort of main track, and you never just pick a random point, search across it, emo another wall so the stores could come in to sort this compound out. So I've got the two lads searching in front of me. They've searched up to the wall, put the charge on the wall. We've walked back through the safe lane, blown it. And as we've walked back over, I noticed all the white lines had gone off the floor that we sprayed. I remember he stood at the breach, and I think my team commander has been on the net to me, and I've looked down and all the white lines had gone. And I remember calling one of the boys back over to search in front of me, and I literally took a step to my right to spray a line on the floor, and boom, next thing I know, I was mid-air. It all happened like in slow motion, being in mid-air and then landing and I couldn't breathe. It felt like something punched me in the kidneys really hard. I was like, what? You just couldn't breathe. Again, you knew something had happened badly, but I didn't know it was me at first. I was in no pain whatsoever. I was shock and adrenaline, like, what's happened? Right, something's happened. I need to get up. I need to find out what's happened. And it wasn't the two lads who were searching jumped straight in the ditch. They didn't search up, they just got in, tourniquets out straight away. And that's the minute I knew it was me. So for those who don't know, a tourniquet is the last line of defence in a catastrophic bleed. You've just got to get it on there straight away. All your training, get it on, pull it tight, get it done up, stop the bleeding. I couldn't. My ears were ringing, even though I had the issued ear defenders in. I had my ballistic glasses on and everything. Dust in my eyes, ringing. But yeah, the boys were straight in there, getting tourniquets on my legs. I remember Stu, one of the lads, putting a tourniquet on my left leg, and I was like, Stu, don't worry about my legs, my bollock's still there. And he's just put his hand straight down my trousers, gone, yes, mate, still as small as ever. I was like, nice one, happy, laughing and joking. And that was it. Like I said, I was in no pain whatsoever. The boys, they were treating me. My team commander then came up. I had no idea how bad anything was. And I didn't even realise he put a tourniquet on my arm as well. Okay. And yeah, like I said, I was in no pain whatsoever. The only pain I was in was when they tried taking me back through the mouse hole I'd just done the emo. And one of the lads lost his footing and dropped the stretcher.
Oh, no.
But yeah, again, in my head, I think I know everything. But speaking to the boys afterwards, it was one of the ones where there was no screaming or anything. Everyone reacts differently. You don't know how you're going to react till it happens. I mean, I've heard guys screaming for their mums and stuff like that. But yeah, I was just laughing and joking. There goes my football career. Oh, look at me, short touring or whatever. I had no idea how bad it was, though. From the accounts I was told afterwards, my right leg was gone from the knee down. My left leg had been stripped of flesh from the knee down to my boot. And my right arm, my hand was still there and my radius was still there, but the bottom of my arm had completely been stripped of flesh and muscle. And it had to be amputated eventually when I got back to Birmingham. But yeah, like I said, I spent 20 minutes laughing and joking on the deck. I think I told the medic to F off at one point because she kept asking me for my Zap number. And after the fifth time, just... But yeah, no, I knew I was in a position where the tourniquets are on. I'm still alive after 5-10 minutes, which is good. I've got some morphine in me. I've got my mates around me. I know there's a helicopter coming to get me. You felt safe. And the minute I heard the Chinook, I mean, you can hear them from miles away. Distinct sound. The minute I heard that, I thought, I'm surviving. I'm going home. And I remember hearing it, and I'm on the deck looking up at the sky, and I remember it flying over the top of us. I remember seeing the underbelly of it as well, and it landed behind, and then the boys picked me up, throw me on, and I'd just give a big airborne shout off the back. And that was it. The boys are gone, and I just had a doctor in my face. It was one of the ones, you ever seen the films where everything goes white, and it's just a face looking at you? I just remember seeing this doctor's face. No noise around me anymore, and I don't know, from 1 minute it wasn't hurting, the pain just started the minute I got put on the Chinook. And I remember him saying to me, you're all right, mate, you're clearly conscious. I went, it's really starting to effing hurt now. Can you just knock me out? And next thing I remember seeing a big needle and then gone in an induced coma on the back of the helicopter.
And what's the next thing you remember?
The next thing I remember was a priest stood over me in Birmingham.
Right. So you don't even remember the trip back?
No, so from all accounts, when I spoke about Luke earlier, they couldn't get a Chinook in for him for 6 hours or whatever it was. By this point on Herrick 13, they had the golden hour. So if they got to you and back to, they got you from point of injury to the hospital within an hour, I think it was 90, the figures might be off, but it's like 94, 95% chance of survival, whatever's happened to you.
That's back to Bastion.
In the hospital, which at this point was the best trauma hospital in the world by far. And I think I was back on the operating table within like 47 minutes of being injured.
Wow.
Again, this is only what I've been told, and I might not be too accurate with the figures, but it was quick. But yeah, don't remember any of that. I think from there, for being blown out to being back on the tarmac in Birmingham was about 24 hours. So they fly a plane out from the UK, pick you up, get you back. And yeah, don't remember that. Don't remember being blue lighted from Birmingham, from the plane to Birmingham Hospital to the new Queen Elizababeth Hospital in Birmingham. Don't remember the first things I remember of being in intensive care. The first time I woke up was to like a priest being stood over me. I just remember seeing the dog collar and go, "Wow, I'm in heaven." Then the next time was a nurse trying to do a functions test on your genitals to make sure it'll still work.
Really?
Which would have been great, but he was bald, in his 40s and pulling on a rubber glove. I didn't have a clue what was going on, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Rape, what's going on? And then, I mean, at this time, Jensen's mum, who I'm not with anymore, she was always, her and my dad were having to tell me all the time, like every time I was waking up, that my arm and my legs were gone. I was like, I can still feel him. You're making it up. I don't believe you. I can feel him. And reiterating it all the time because my brain just couldn't comprehend what was going on. The amount of drugs that are pumped into your system to kill off infections, everything. You didn't have a clue what was going on. I mean, the ketamine dreams were unreal. I mean, I thought intensive care because it was round. I thought it was a Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Out of Star Wars. I thought there were like lightsaber battles going on. I thought the beds went outside at night time and you were a door gunner. I was all over the place. Didn't have a clue what was going on. And yeah, one day I woke up and I'm trying to find my rifle because in a day you're on the dirt in Afghanistan. Now you're in a hospital bed in Birmingham and you haven't got this bit in between. I didn't know what was going on.
That's quite, yeah, that's something, isn't it?
But again, I'm not the first who've gone through this. Plenty of guys have been through this as well. So, I mean, the first time they let me see Jensen was when I was being moved from intensive care to Ward 412, which is the military ward at QEHB. And I wasn't allowed to touch him, but he could come next to me in the little, what they call the carry things that children go in. My mind's gone blank.
Carry cot?
Yeah, I don't know what they call the things that clip in the car seats.
Car seat.
Like the child seat, one of them things. And yeah, just again, it was all just bits of memories, not really knowing what's going on. And the first night I was on the normal ward 412, I had a dream that my sergeant major had come to the end of my bed and told me to follow him. Okay. So I've somehow managed, with no legs and an arm missing, in a sort of comatose state, sit up, crawl to the end of the bed, and I fell out head first. I've opened up my arm again. Yeah, I was not in a good place, mate.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I was back in surgery the next day. I think I got an infection in my arm at one point. But over the next week or two, your drug load's coming down. So you're starting to become you again. Your mind's becoming yours again. That first couple of days in the normal ward, I thought there were people in the ceiling trying to get me. It's just paranoia. I thought my hospital bed was underneath a runway for some reason. I keep reiterating, you don't know what's going on. You're all over the place. But yeah, drug load's coming down. You're starting to feel normal. Your bowels are starting to work again. That's emotional. Going to the toilet for the first time in 2 weeks. Wow. I know how ladies feel like when they're giving birth now. It is not pleasant. But yeah, again, I managed to go to the loo for the first time. Felt proud. Then went to stand up, fell off the toilet, smashed my legs on the floor. Managed to pull some boxer shorts on before you pull the orange cord just to get a bit of like... I was all over the place, mate. Yeah. I didn't know what was going on. And to be honest, at that point, when you've fallen off a toilet because you can't stand up and you're lying on the floor and you're having to get helped back into a wheelchair, I didn't know what I was. I was scared. I didn't know what I was going to do with life. I didn't know what life held for me anymore.
That might have been the point it hit you first time properly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is a big thing for now. Is I've learnt because of that to accept things. So for me, that first few weeks, I wouldn't say I was angry. I didn't accept that my arms and my legs had gone. And it wasn't until a para-reg lad actually, walked past my room while I was in hospital on prosthetic legs. I nearly fell out of bed pulling the orange cord to get him to get the nurse to get him back. And he came and sat in my room, and he had 2 prosthetic legs and an arm missing. And he sat and he talked to me for 10 minutes. And that was the minute then that I could accept my legs and my arm were gone, because I could see where the next step was. It was getting on these things. And I'll honestly say that the minute that happened was the minute I started. I was on ground zero then. I'd gone below. Now I was on the way back up. I knew where my baseline was, where I was starting. And yeah, that's when you started. Right, I need to get out of this bed. So let's get in the wheelchair a bit more. As much as I hate wheelchairs, to me they're a set of handcuffs. You can't do anything in them compared to walking on prosthetic legs. Get to do some more physio, push to do more sessions, start getting fit again, stop eating crap food because you're happy to be alive. The amount of McDonald's I think I had in them first few weeks, because, I mean, the hospital food wasn't the best. And when they're trying to get you to eat 5,000 calories a day, I mean, I love a takeaway as much as the next person, but trying to eat 5,000 calories a day is a lot. I mean, the protein shakes they were giving you, they were rats, they were horrible. But again, your body is just burning calories trying to heal itself. Right. So yeah, I ended up doing 6 weeks in the QEHB. And again, you're getting better every week you're there.
What's pain levels like?
Pain levels, you're on pain meds, but they're nowhere near what you started when you first got there. Pain-wise, it wasn't pain as in like someone, like you fall over and bang your elbow or stuff. It was pain as in phantom pain. So your brain is still trying to send messages to your feet and your hands, etc. And your nerves in your legs are all messed up, and they're going, well, what do you want? And it just ends up, you're sitting there, and all of a sudden you'll just twitch, and your arms hurt, and you're screaming. Yeah, phantom pain was pretty bad, but yeah, pain-wise, I was by the time I left, I was pretty comfortable.
Okay.
I left the hospital, and they sent me. I went and lived in my dad's front room in Colchester for a week. They put a hospital bed in there, etc. I took all his skirting boards out on my electric wheelchair because I didn't know how to use it properly. It's like me driving. I'm not the best. Just end up crashing into everything. But yeah, spent a week at my dad's. Managed to get in the bath for a first time, which is quite nice. Won't tell any of the hospital staff about that, but managed to climb up the stairs on my bum, fall in the bath and just lie there for a couple of hours. It was great.
You didn't have it too hot, did you?
It was lovely. But yeah, from there, spent a week with my dad's and then went to Headley Court for the first time.
Okay. So I'm just going to ask, how did your family, your dad, how were they with what happened to you?
Yeah, I think everyone obviously shocked.
Yeah.
But I don't know. To be honest, I think you'll have to ask them. Yeah. I don't know. Obviously, it's going to be shock and horror. But
they were there to support you.
But my dad was in New Zealand at the time.
Was he? Okay.
It was that winter in the UK where the snow had come in, so the airports had shut and everything. And I think he spent like a week trying to get to New Zealand. He got there for 2 days, and then I decided to get blown up. So he had to come back. Yeah. But I don't. My ex-partner, she reacted. She was brilliant, if you know what I mean. I can't fault her for anything. She was there straight away with Jensen. I don't know what I put her through. I just remember seeing my granddad. He's no longer with me now, but his face the first time he saw me was just like, it was quite scary. But yeah, again, it's all that. There's nothing I can do about it. I just got to move on. I can't be angry and sit here and go, I'm so angry. No, if you do that, you're not going to go anywhere in your life. So it's all about just trying to. So the minute I got to Headley Court and that place is unreal. You get there and there are literally robots walking around everywhere. There's guys with half their heads missing. It's just, when you've been through the mincer like most of the guys I know have, it's there is nowhere better to go. The minute you get there, you just want to get out of that wheelchair straight away.
Yeah. You
want to just smash yourself. You want to start fizzing. You want to get on prosthetic legs, and you want to. For me, it was all about fitting back into society.
Now, I've not gone through what you've gone through, obviously, but I have been obviously injured and had surgery, etc., and then gone to Headley Court myself. And I'm going to totally agree with you. It's a place where you feel accepted, you fit in. Everyone gets you. They might not have the exact same injury, but they they get what you're going through,
Yeah.
right? And they're there to support you. And it's just a phenomenal place.
Yeah, I mean, I can't put it any other way. That you get there and they're literally robots walking around. There's guys on prosthetic legs everywhere.
Yeah.
There's guys in fancy wheelchairs. There's guys walking around with what they called myoelectric hands on. I mean, I felt quite lucky when you're there. When you see a guy walking around with half his head missing and he's got to wear like what they call the boxing guards around his head. It all puts you back into sort of perspective that everyone's different.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the amount of engineers that were at Headley Court, all the search teams were just getting blown up, weren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not just saying engineers were the only ones that were being injured. There were lots of people being injured. But like I said, being in that situation, getting measured up for prosthetics for the first time, and literally within a week of being there, I'm stood on a set of check sockets. So you're like a little Oompa Loompa walking around. And you're just walking up and down parallel bars, but you just feel alive again. And then 2 weeks later, you're at 5 foot. And then within 6 weeks of being there, you're back up to 6 foot again. Well, 5'11", but I used to be 6 foot. They put me to 6 foot. I couldn't do it. They brought me down an inch, and it was like, yeah, I've got this.
Okay, so that's balance.
Balance, yeah. So because you're too top heavy at the end of the day. But I just got there, and I just got in this full on, right, let's get fit, because you've spent 6 weeks sat in your ass in a hospital, sat at home. You've gone from being this 24-year-old pretty fit lad in the desert to this mess sat in a wheelchair, and the only thing you could do is go on to full on, well, I just need to fizz. I just need to do stuff. You're happy to be alive as well, so you're eating. I mean, the food at Headley Court back then was not the best. And so blokes, it was the old Domino's man was there every night, if you know what I mean, at the old guard room. But you just felt you were happy to be alive. You just wanted to smash yourself. And I did that for a few months, going back and forth to Headley Court, walking again. But what I didn't do was listen to my body. So my legs, stumps weren't healed. My arm got an infection and that needed an operation. And yeah, from being in hospital to getting out to end up putting myself back in hospital, it was like, I need to slow down a little bit. So I did. I literally spent 2 years of sorting my life out. Unfortunately, me and my ex-partner split up during that time. Because to me, getting blown up, it just sort of opened my eyes a bit more to the world. I didn't have any patience for anything. I just wanted everything done now. And did I make some rash decisions? Yes. Good and bad? Yes. But at the end of the day, you're all over the place. You don't know what's going on. The Headley Court car park was like a bloody footballer's car park, wasn't it? Blokes getting injured, getting money in the bank from your compensation. Oh no, let's go buy a Range Rover.
Yes.
Let's go and buy I don't know, one bloke had a Ferrari, I think, at one point.
Yeah, Porsche, Audis.
Porsches, I mean, you make silly decisions, but again, this all comes back to being happy to be alive.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I spent 2 years of sort of putting my life back together, sorting my house out. I mean, I got involved with people I shouldn't have got involved with business-wise, never mixed business and friends. I've realised that now. I have made mistakes, but you learn from them mistakes. So yeah, I was just happy to be alive. The sort of fizz dropped off a bit though, and you were boozing, you were going to gigs. You just like, I can't reiterate how happy you are to be alive.
Yeah.
You've been through this horrendous situation, and you've come out the other side. You're walking again. You're driving. You're being a dad. You're going to watch, I don't know, the Foo Fighters. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going out for dinner. And then one day you look in the mirror and go, you fat fuck. You've gone from this 24-year-old lad to this 26-year-old mess. You need to sort your life out. Not in the sorting your life out as in sort of housing, banking, all that sort of stuff, but you've sort of done no fizz for a year. You've just enjoyed yourself. I found myself a bit lost. I needed the old carrot dangled in front of you. I needed a challenge in life again. And this is where I first got involved with Help for Heroes, military charities, etc.
Okay.
I'd sort of kept myself to myself and not got involved with any of it. But I ended up signing up to do a charity bike ride from Paris to London, the Battlefield Bike Ride.
Okay. What year is this then?
2013.
Okay.
So yeah, 2.5 years after I was injured.
Yeah.
So 2011, 12, 2.5 years after I was injured. Did no training whatsoever. I think the furthest I'd ridden was like 20 miles. And a hand bike, so you lie on your back on the bike, you're literally on the road and you power it with your arms and you turn the cranks. And the bikes are like 3 times the weight of a normal upright bike.
Okay.
And yeah, I signed up to do Paris to London, and when you're on the Eurostar over there, like 200 miles an hour, however quick it goes, Northern France looks flat. It's not, is it? It's up, down, up, down, up, down. I developed a symptoms called hill Tourette's while I was out there as well. Anytime you hit a hill, it was F this.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this is. But yeah, I mean, I signed up for it. Help for Heroes bought me my first bike, and I wanted to raise the money back that they paid for it, and I ended up doing that. I think I raised $5,000. But yeah, did it. It was horrific. Honestly, that was harder than P Company. That was harder than anything I'd done before because I wasn't fit. I thought it was going to be easy. I thought it was just, I can ride my bike for a few miles a day. First day was 90 miles.
90?
90 miles. The whole thing was meant to be 350, but ended up being 420. There was an ex-guardsman reading the map. But yeah, it was just, honestly, it was rats. It was horrible. The weather was crap as well, so you're just wet and cold all the time. But yeah, managed to get into London and like onto Horse Guards, and it was one of the ones I did the old duty Steve Redgrave. If anyone sees me near that bike again, they can shoot me. I was like, I'm not doing that ever again. Went out, got drunk, and that was it. That was the end of that. But no, 2 weeks later, I was back in London watching 2 other injured lads, Justin and Steve, racing hand bikes around London, and I couldn't believe how many people there watching. They were literally thousands upon thousands of people there watching disabled people ride bikes around London, literally around St James's Park. And seeing that, I was like, I need to get this bike back out. I need to get into this. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
So I did. I spoke to my old ERI at Headley Court, JP, who works at Tedworth House now. And yeah, we formalised a plan, got myself a lighter bike and started training on the bike.
Okay. So that was something to give you new goals, new challenges, get your fitness back.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it not to race at first. I said to him, look, I'm not interested in racing, but I always found it hard I tried the running blades, but I don't know, it just didn't feel right. And to me, that was an unnatural movement, and I'd rather walk for an extra 10 years than run for a few. That's what I saw in my head at that point.
Because with the blades, for anyone that doesn't know, I mean, you tell us, but is it you got to flick your legs out?
Yeah, it's like helicopter movements. You can't run through like normal people would. It's like you flick your legs out and round, and you need to speak to Dave Henson about that. He's won a Paralympic medal running. So
true, yeah. Maybe he'll come on the show.
Well, I'll have a word with him. But yeah, no, that just wasn't for me. And yeah, weights are fine, but I never really had any sort of CV I could do. I'd go for walks and things like that, but it was never. I used to love going running beforehand. I used to love just getting out and going for a run, music in your ears, and off you go. But yeah, cycling, it gave me a way to do some phys where I didn't need to throw weights about. I didn't need to, I don't know, try and reinvent the wheel. I could just get on a bike and go and do some phys. And yeah, I started doing it, and you could tell all the bikes got power meters and stuff in it, so you can tell on your Garmin how much effort you put in, etc. And the more you're doing it, the more you're watching your power going up, and the faster you were getting, and the better you were getting. I mean, I'm still finding hills horrendous. So, at the end of the day, I'm trying to get up a hill on a smaller muscle group anyway than a normal conventional cyclist, but I've only got one arm. So, but at the end of the day, that was the hard bit. But the great bit was going downhill the other side.
Yeah.
I've never had an upright beat me down a hill before. So,
right.
It's great fun. Work hard, play hard, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's the way I live life. So, yeah, I just love riding a bike. I just got the bug straight away.
Did you felt free again?
Yeah, I mean, at first it was very apprehensive going out on your road because at the end of the day, you're right down on the road. Even if you've got a flag on the back and a light, you can't really see what's going on behind you. You're not as visible as other people. So you'd always go with an upright cyclist. But I'd say after a few months, you just end up going out on your road. It's fine. Yeah. Once I learned how to repair a wheel for a puncher with one arm, that was a big thing for me. It was, if I'm out on a blow, how do I change a wheel? But it was all adapting to, I don't know, use teeth, etc. Or if it don't work, throw it in the field. But yeah, no, I got round to changing tyres and stuff, and Yeah, you always find a way of doing things. I hate it when people say you can't do something, because then it's like, well, I'll show you.
Yeah, find a way.
Yeah, exactly.
So 2013.
2013, 2014.
2013, 2014. Are you still part of the military at this point?
So at this point I'm sort of back and forth to Headley Court, not as much as I was in the beginning. But yeah, I was due to leave at the start of 2014, but I ended up getting. So at the end of 2013 was when I went to the Millies. I got nominated for a Millie.
Yeah.
So I did that bike ride from Paris to London, and then someone nominated me for a Millie, and I was like, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go. Wasn't interested whatsoever. But I was still serving at this point, so the army went, "You going?" I was like, "Do I have to?" "It's an order. You going?" "All right, okay." "You are paying my wages at the end of the day." So ended up going. Went into London. Like I said, I really wasn't interested. Went to Downing Street, met the Prime Minister, did all that sort of stuff, did a few TV interviews, and went to this award event. And I just thought, oh, it's just going to be one of the things. There's going to be a load of celebs there just trying to hug a injured soldier and feel sorry for you and stuff. And yeah, I didn't think anything of it. My award came up and I ended up winning. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Okay. And then I was given the award by Sir Bradley Wiggins.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, right, wow. You just won the Tour de France, and you're like one of the highest decorated Olympians ever. It's wow. Anyway, speaking afterwards, and he said to me, "We'll go for a ride one day." And I thought, oh, I've met at Headley Court. You meet loads of footballers. I'm not going to name any, but they said they were going to come and never show up, or they're there just to have a photo with you, and then they're gone. I thought, oh, that would never happen. But yeah, I mean, the start of February 2014, I was in Mallorca with Team Sky for a week.
Nice.
Round the whole team. It was just, wow. Just seeing how they worked as a professional unit. It's like a military unit. That guy's there to wash the kit. That guy's there to cook. That guy's there to fix the bike. The rider gets up, eats, gets on his bike, works his bollocks off, gets off, gives his bike in, and it goes through the process again. It's just, wow. And I remember I did eventually get out with Brad and got on the bikes and stuff. And I said to him, how do you do this every day? What? He said, it's when I get up in the morning, I said, no, my exact question was, what do you do on the days where you can't be bothered? Because we all have them days, don't we? Where you just wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, I can't be bothered today. And he said to me, it's not about today. I'm riding this bike hard today because in 4 years' time, I need to win a medal by 1 second. And I was like, wow, it just completely blew my mind. His mindset was, and speaking to other cyclists as well, so I've met Cav a few times, and top boy. The way they see and put everything on hold to make that bike go faster, it just opened my eyes up to everything. They are fully committed to riding that bike. Family, this, that, distractions, all on hold. I'm riding this bike. And that opened my eyes, I've said it 2 or 3 times now, to being a professional sportsman. Okay. That's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. I only brought that up because I nearly got kicked out of the army. Well, I got disciplined because I didn't tell the army I was going to Mallorca with Team Sky in the February. And obviously I was still serving, and it was in the Sun newspaper. I just forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I got back from there and I ended up getting an infection in my arm, which delayed leaving for a couple of months. Or was it my leg? I had a burster in my leg, which is like a pocket that fills with fluid under the skin. It just exploded. So I had to get some more surgery on that. And yeah, so I eventually discharged in June 2014.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a weird day, though, isn't it? Giving your ID card in and
it is.
Yeah, driving out of Civvy, giving all your vehicle passes back and stuff. But yeah, I mean, to me, at the end, I knew I was going to be out anyway. I'm sure you were saying you're going to get medically discharged or whatever. It was just a normal day. It was just weird giving that bit of plastic in, knowing that's been your life for the last 10 years.
Yeah, and thinking what's it going to be like now to transition back, because you got to transition back to the civvy streets somehow.
Yeah.
And for yourself,
I mean, I hadn't worn a uniform for 3 years after being injured, so I didn't miss that. But looking back now, I mean, we were chatting earlier about the military. I do miss the military. Mm-hmm. I don't miss the uniform and the bullshit and stuff like that. I miss the boys.
Yeah. And
going on tour.
Yeah.
And just working as a unit, working as an 8-man team to complete a task or assault a position or whatever.
Yeah.
Just being around the boys, because I've got in trouble a few times with my sense of humour, outside of the military because it's not the same as Civvy Street. You can't say what you'd say in the military. So, yeah, it just is what it is. But again, it's that accepting. The minute you accept you're not in it, you can move on in life.
Mm-hmm. So, this is 2014.
2014.
You're handing in your ID card. You're starting to transition back to Civvy Street. So, what do you do now? Are you turning into a professional athlete, or are you?
Well, I'd sort of made the commitment then to ride the bike. So Steve and Justin, the two lads I spoke to about earlier, had been signed by British Cycling in their development squad, and they were flying, and it was sort of chasing them, if you know what I mean. It's like, right, I want to be where they are, and then I want to push. But I had a bit of a setback. So the classification, from speaking to all the British cycling coaches, they're like, you're going to be a H2. You're going to be a H2. You're going to fit into this classification. You're going to be brilliant. I went for my classification with the classifiers, and I walked in the room, and they looked at me and went, you're here for hand cycling? Yeah. Okay. And they just didn't have a clue. I ended up being classified H3, which was pending. So I'm racing guys for 2 arms.
What could you explain that for people that don't know the classes?
So all Paralympic sports have got different classifications. And there's lads I speak to. It's Paralympic sport is all about. It's a niche. You've got to find that classification where you fit just into it. So if they had, I remember reading something somewhere about for swimming, just Paralympic swimming. There's 9 classifications, I think. If they had one for every injury, it would take years to do these events. So they have to fit it in niches. And it's all about finding where you just fit in. So I'd gone into this classification. So people are sort of paralysed from sort of under your sternum up, but they've still got 2 fully functioning arms.
Okay. So that's a H3.
That's H3.
Right.
So H2 is where you have grip issues.
Okay.
I can't grip on this side, so how can't I fit in this classification? But in the day, they made a decision. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to race. So I started racing in the UK. I was doing all right. I was losing weight. That was the big thing. I was losing weight. I was getting fit. I was getting more powerful. But the more powerful I was getting on the bike, the quicker the arm was coming off. Because at the end of the day, I've got a prosthetic arm that's held on by a bit of silicone, and you're trying to put power through a crank. It just wasn't working. That really got me down, because you can see yourself getting stronger, but you were being held back by a bit of equipment that wasn't your fault. I mean, I went to private prosthetic centres to get it done, and even to this day, I'm still struggling to keep an arm on whilst racing.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, 2014, I think I went out to Italy and raced out there. That was great fun. Yeah,
Who's that for? Is that
was just off. That was racing with British Cycling, but not for them.
okay?
So you weren't signed for them, but you could go and race and stuff. And yeah, that was 2014. Yeah, finished that year, went to Bali for a holiday. And the minute I got back, I was straight into right training mode. Everything got put on hold. Family. When I say put on hold, I don't mean literally don't talk to them anymore, but are we going to have dinner tonight? No. I'm calorie counting. I'm doing everything properly. Yeah, and then went into... It was 2014, the Invictus Games as well. Yeah, 2014.
That was the first Invictus Games, yeah.
First Invictus Games, 2014. And again, I was overweight then. And that course at, Lee Valley Park, it's just up, down, and I'm not the best on hills, I'll admit that.
So you signed up for
Invictus,
or?
By this point, my other half, Anna, she was working for Help for Heroes, and she was, are you going to sign up for this? And I was like, oh, it's just going to be a big sports day where civvies are going to feel sorry for you and hug a hero. And that's all that goes through my head. I don't want to be seen as a charity case. I don't want to be seen as, oh, look at him, he's an injured soldier. I just want to be seen as a normal person. And I think quite a few lads are a bit apprehensive about signing up, but Anna managed to convince me and went through the trials, got selected, and yeah, tipped up in London, and the next minute you're in the garden of the American Embassy watching the Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
there's only 100 people there. It's like, what is this all about?
That was quite crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and the first day was the athletics, and I went to watch that, and there was like 7,000 people there as well, wasn't there? It was, This is mental. Did the cycling, went into it, and I won a bronze in a time trial, and then I came 4th in a road race, but I was just happy I'd won a medal. But then when you a few days or weeks later, my coach sat down with me and we got the results out, and he showed me that the guy who won won the time trial, beat me by like a minute. It was only like a mile long time trial. It was he was rapid, and in the road race he'd lap me, and it was like, right, so what are you gonna do about it? It's like, well, I need to lose weight. We formulated a plan, and we just started training. Weight fell off, bike was going fast. I was feeling better. And I went into 2015 fit.
Yeah,
The fittest I've been for a long time. Eating properly, not drinking. Fully focused on riding the bike. And I started racing in the UK. I won a few races in the UK. Raced in Europe a few times. And I went and did the Battlefield bike ride again in 2015. So Paris to London. And it was so much easier when you're fit. Well, I was saying that the first day we got there, and I ended up being at a bar with a load of people having a few drinks.
social
Social
right?
drinks, yeah, social. But it's just a week to not go and ride your bike fast, but just to go and enjoy riding your bike.
Yeah.
You're going to go and do 50, 60 miles a day, ride your bike. And the first day I ended up playing, me and another lad we did the whole morning and went, let's just get to the hotel and have a beer. So we started playing hunt the person in front of you. So you see a cyclist, you chase them, overtake them, next cyclist, chase them. I've hit this hill and I'm coming down a hill and I didn't see the gravel warning sign on the side of the road. And as I'm going down the hill, I just lost control. The front wheels hit a bit of gravel and I've lost control of the bike, which has flipped it, smashed my head, knocked myself out and rolled down the road a few times. Like brand new Rafa cycling kit on as well. Really expensive stuff. Ripped it all to bits. Ended up, honestly, I've got a picture of me sat on the side of the road like a blood everywhere. And thankfully I went down on the right side, so the prosthetic arm took all the impact. That was a bit of a bad crash. But my helmet saved my life basically, where I've gone smash into the tarmac. But got back from that. Ended up having to be sort of casevac'd home. Anna got the boat out and come and got me and brought me home, a bit dishevelled. Went in to see my surgeon straight away, and she went, right, or he at the time, Mr. Dunn said, just don't ride your bike for 3 weeks. Trust me, if you ride your bike, you're going to take all the skin off your back again because you're lying on it. Just sit off your bike for 3 weeks. And I did. I'd obviously been training, I'd smashed it, crashed. Took 3 weeks off, got back on the bike and I was fine again. Loved it. Started racing, training, and that led me into 2016, which is the next Invictus Games, wasn't it, in Orlando?
Yeah.
Started training for that and I made the decision. Things are starting to pop up at home, like distractions. So I decided to start 2016. I took myself away. I drove out to Mallorca and just spent 3 months out there training on the bike, dropping the weight, getting fitter, flying. Literally, I'm doing mountain climbs now. Still not very quick going up the hills, but you're getting up some mountains, descending, loving life, just riding the bike. And then, ended up going out to Orlando in 2016. And
so how did you find trials?
I smashed it. I beat everyone.
You were training so hard.
I didn't want to be big-headed, but other than, I don't think any other hand cyclist, Steve Arnold didn't go because he was racing BC. So I smashed the trials.
Yeah.
Did I? Yeah. So I basically flew. A mate of mine was having osteo in Australia in the January, and he didn't have a lot of family, so I flew out there and saw him for a week, and then I flew back just for the trials. Landed at like 5 a.m. Got my car with a bike and hammered it to Bath. Got there just before signed on, and then got out and just smashed everyone on the track. And got in the car and fell asleep, and found out I'd been selected and stuff. Went out to Orlando and got into it. Looked at the start sheet, and the guy who beat me the year before or 2 years before, the French guy, saw he was there. I was like, he's not beating me this time. I'm going to smash him. Went into the time trial and I absolutely buried myself. I think he beat me by 1 second. I was a bit gutted, but it's better than the minute he beat me a few years beforehand. Went into the road race and I thought, he shot off at the start and I was like, right, okay. Me and another guy from the GB team were working together and we pulled him back. He hit the final corner and I thought, I've got him. But he just got his front wheel in front on the final corner. And by that point, my arm was literally hanging on for dear life because it was in Florida. It was boiling. And he beat me by half a bike length on on the finish. But again, he'd lapped me 2 years before, so
you got silver there.
I got 2 silvers.
Nice.
And then while I was there, they said, "Do you want to have a go at anything else while you're out here?" So I thought, I'll have a go at rowing. How hard can it be? Indoor rowing in Florida when it's boiling. What is it? It's just mad going into that hall, wasn't it? And they had the big cinema screen up, so the Concept 2s are all lined up, the rowing machines. And you just go for it, didn't you? It's like, honestly, 4 minutes max effort.
4 minutes.
4 minutes max effort. It don't sound hard, but it is nails. It's honestly, I just saw my boat was in front, and I just kept going. And I think by the end of it, I didn't have a clue what was going on. There were 3 cinema screens in front of me, and I was all over the place. But I fell off the rowing machine to be told you'd won a gold medal. I was like, what?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I remember the BBC reporter coming up to me and going, "So rowing's your passion, blah, blah, blah. How long have you been training for it?" She's a bit shocked when you said, "Well, I only got on a rowing machine for the first time yesterday." But it just goes to show that the effort I'd put in, the training, I was obviously in good shape. And I went back on and did the 1 minute sprint after that. I won another gold medal. So 4 medals in one day.
Wow.
But yeah, for me, the Invictus Games, it wasn't, obviously you like winning medals, but it wasn't that. It was being round guys who've been through the mincer with you. And it was a social afterwards, going to watch your mates compete in different events you weren't competing in. And just the public's reaction to you. Because when you're first injured, you don't know how people are going to react.
Yeah.
But they just treat you as normal, and it was great.
Yeah. There's no judgment, is there?
No. Apart from when you're getting kicked out of bar at midnight.
We don't have to talk about that.
Golf buggy's going missing, but there we go.
So that's 2016.
2016.
You've had a couple of years out of the military. Your kind of, I don't know, your goal of being a pro athlete, pro cyclist is on track. It's going well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, got home from there, and it was, you knew the Invictus Games was going to be in Toronto the year later, and my whole mindset was, I'm going to beat the French guy. I've got to beat him.
Okay.
I cannot lose to a Frenchman again.
So you wanted to get back into training?
So I got back in training.
Get selected again?
I flew home early from Invictus in Orlando to race in the UK. Got back, raced, did all right. I think I did a couple more races in Europe that year, or 1 or 2. I can't remember. But yeah, did all right. I was just having massive issues with the arm.
Right.
Just trying to get it to stay on during races. I mean, at one point we were contemplating just super gluing the liner on. Because at the end of the day, it's silicone. When there's fluid in there, I've spent a lot of time working with prosthetists who make the arms and stuff, and we were trying everything. But no one had one of these arms made before. So for pulling, because hand cycling is push-pull, 50-50. But the minute you start hitting the hill, it's more pull, and that's when the arm was coming off.
Right.
I mean, that was just getting me down, and not getting you down. It's just frustrating. It's just, for fuck's sake, I'm catching these guys. I'm doing well, but I'm being let down by a bit of carbon fibre on my arm.
And if it stays on, you might do that.
I mean, you're scared to put in that little sprint because you don't want that to just, you can feel it going, and in your head, that's it, you've lost the race. That was my mindset. The minute that I started going, that I'm done. Index. I mean, but again, you try not to let it get to you, and you're trying to carry on training, hoping that you're going to find a solution to what the issue is. So that was the end of 2016. Start of 2017, I was full train mode. Get on a bike, riding, keeping fit. That's when I heard about the race across America, the RAAM.
Okay.
So in 2012, a team of 8 injured lads, 4 hand bikes and 4 upright bikes, did the race across America. I remember being at Headley Court when they were doing it, and I remember all the ERIs talking to each other and the physios, how well they were doing. And they did it, I think they did 3,140 something miles or whatever, over 180,000 feet of climbing from Oceanside in California to Annapolis, which is just north of Washington. And I just wanted to do it. I heard about it. I heard they were going to do it again, Help for Heroes. And I was like, I'm in. Everything else. Invictus just gone. That's gone for me. I spoke to Anna. I said, look, I want to do this. Are you going to back me? And she always backs me. You have to ask the question, don't you?
Yeah.
But I knew I was going to be away a lot. So to train for it again, I took myself to Mallorca, smashed it, fitness. all threshold work. So it's all short, sharp, 20-mile pulls. Because at the end of the day, the RAAM it's a time trial from one side of America to the other. Only one of you has to be on the road at any time, but it's a relay.
It's a relay.
So relay all the way across America.
4-man team, do you say?
8-man team.
Oh, 8-man team.
So it's like being in the army. It's in your section again.
Got it.
You're 8 of you working together to smash a goal. So it's going to be 4 handbikes and 4 uprights again. And yeah, the only guy who had done it before was Joe Townsend, who's a Paralympian. He's just nails. His nickname's Google Me, if you know what I mean. So, so yeah, honestly, that was it. Everything else went on hold. Went out to Mallorca, trained for 2 or 3 months, got back, did the trials. And yeah, I mean, found out the week of, we went to France and did a week in the Pyrenees to like confirmatory training to see if you got the space. And I just went man down. I was so ill, just throwing up everywhere, like hot, cold, 50-degree heat, and you stood there in a rab jacket, like, I'm cold, what's going on? And I thought I'd blown it. I didn't have a clue. I thought I'm not going to get selected now, but fortunately I was selected. And yeah, went out to America, and honestly, I loved every single minute of it. It's nails. It's no if, buts, or maybe. It's nails, because we broke the 2-man team, the 8-man team, into 2 4-man teams. So you'd spend half an hour on the road, then you've got an hour and a half in the back of a van, then you've got to get back out, half an hour and a half. Honestly, it's just getting yourself going again every time. Yeah. But once you got into the routine of it, I mean, lack of sleep's one thing, but you've done that in the military for so many years.
So it's just non-stop until you get to the other side?
Non-stop. The JP's thing was, who ran it, the train does not stop. If we lose a rider, he gets sat on the side of the road with a support staff and the train keeps going. The whole goal was to do it in under 7 days. So 3,143 miles it was in under 7 days. Or 7 days. I mean, yeah, we got out there and everyone was fit. The team was all right. I mean, a few issues with people, but once you got on the road and you just rode your bike, you didn't want to let the team down. So you're on there. I knew I had to average 20 miles an hour every time I went on the road. So 10-mile pull, 20 miles an hour. Let's go, if you know what I mean. Half an hour's hard work. Yeah, and the way they structured it was you'd never try and put a hand bike on a steep climb because your speed just drops massively. But then when you've got a massive descent, chuck the hand bike down it because it's so much quicker than an upright bike.
So there's tactical stuff.
Oh, yeah,
as well.
It was brilliant. I mean, both the 2 teams within our team had different tactics, but you can't fault people in that situation for how they want to do it. But yeah, I mean, it's mad. You start in like California, you climb out, then you drop into Death Valley, the desert.
Yeah.
And then it's, I don't know, Monument Valley, and then Kansas, which is just a straight road for 300 miles. Colorado, Missouri, where we nearly got shot. We parked on someone's drive to do a change, and he came out and kicked off. Like proper, like, angry American. But yeah, that was mad. But yeah, eventually got to the other side of America, and yeah, we did it in, between the 8 of us, 14 arms and 9 legs. We did it in 6 days, 12 hours and 36 minutes.
Nice.
I mean, they chucked a 100-mile diversion in as well, and the last 2 days were literally into a block headwind from this storm coming off the Atlantic. But do you know what? It was just great. Finishing it, just the emotion and being part of that team. Yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
Loved it.
What time of year was that?
That was summer, June or July in 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Loved it. Honestly, just 2 days afterwards, just enjoying yourself, letting your hair down. I'd do it again tomorrow. Would do it again tomorrow.
Brilliant.
Loved it.
That sounds so good. But as you say, hard work.
Yeah, work hard, play hard. We played hard afterwards though. So
fantastic. So that's 2017. What kind of was the plan going forward from there? You know, you've done a few Invictus. You met some massive cyclists, like professional, and you've just gone across the whole of America with 7 other people and smashed that. So
yeah, I mean, I sort of, I'll be honest, I got back to America and I found myself a little bit lost. Not lost. Do you ever see the old pictures of someone stood at the middle of a crossroads where you're in the middle and you've got like different directions of, I'd put so much off in my life by just focusing on riding this bike, and I just needed a break. I decided I got back and I went back to America straight away because Anna was out there working. So I flew back to America, had just see her and see other mates and stuff. And I got back from that and I didn't want to get on the bike. It was just like, it went in the garage and I left it. I just started going about doing normal things again. I was doing a house up as well at the time, so I needed to spend time on that. Being a dad to Jensen, I'd done my coaching badges in football literally the first 2 years after being injured, and so I went back into coaching, spending more time with him and stuff, and just doing normal stuff that I'd put off for so long. I got involved with another charity called Debt Therapy, and I went and did I must admit, I got married in the middle of all this at some point. If I forget to put that in there, she'll kill me. But yeah, 2016 got married and we were on a honeymoon, and I went scuba diving out there and fell in love with it straight away. Ended up doing my open water dive course in the Maldives. Honestly, the minute I got my head underwater, got buoyant, and sort of had an inkling of what I was doing. Wow, different world.
It is, yeah.
It is just unreal. And yeah, so I did that, got back. So start of 2017, a mate of mine was involved with Debt Therapy. He said, why don't you come on the courses? And I was like, all right, I'll try that. Went away in October 2017 and went out to the Red Sea with Debt Therapy and did my advanced open water course out there and my deep course. I loved it. Honestly, just getting in there, getting buoyant. I'm terrified of the ocean. I've always been terrified of the ocean since I was a kid. I watched Jaws. Everyone says it. But honestly, if I can't touch the bottom, I didn't like it. But when you're out there, you're down at 40 metres or wherever you are doing your deep course, just brilliant. Just love it.
Yeah.
It's honestly, I love it. I'm still terrified because I think that something's going to come and eat me. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, when I'm in a black wetsuit and I've got no legs on, I'm about 4 foot tall. I look like a seal, if you know what I mean. And sharks eat these seals. So yeah. I love diving. But I also, by putting the bike off, I ended up getting involved with a company going away doing casualty simulation work. So you go all over the world, a company called Casualty Resources, and you're playing a casualty on the floor and you're being treated by medics, military medics all over the world. And I genuinely love it because at the end of the day, you're critiquing them after they've treated you. And if the tourniquets aren't done up properly and stuff, you just start wobbing. You've got DS there watching you, telling you what to do and stuff. But I just feel like I'm giving back to medics and helping them train. Because when I did my training, you go in a room with your mate on the floor, just pretend his leg's missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can still see it. Yeah, but just pretend it's not there and show me how you put a tourniquet on. Now you're lying on the floor, full silicone nut. Makeup artists have done an amazing job on you, and you're squirting blood at someone. I've been in countries where tier 1 operators have come in the room, looked at you and gone, shit, and started backing out the room, if you know what I mean, not knowing what to do, and the DS are throwing them back in, and afterwards they're panicking and they're saying thank you.
Yeah. No, it's true, because I was training for Iraq in 2008, and we had some were actors, some were ex-military, some were had car accidents, and just like that, they were pretending that they'd just been blown up, and you had to jump on, stick your knee in their groin, and stick the tourniquet on. I was thinking about that afterwards, but then once it's all over, and they're sat in the back of the Land Rover, and you're having a chat, and it's quite surreal. Yeah. But some of the best training because of people like yourself helping.
Yeah, and again, fortunately enough, I get a military pension now, so I don't need to work. But I don't like sitting on my backside doing nothing. And I just enjoy doing it. Even the first time I did it, you're cold, you're wet, and you're miserable. At the end of the day, it's good fun as well, because you're after the jobs are all finished, you're having a drink with these guys and girls and whoever, and the team you've worked with, and it's just the social again. Yeah. And that's, again, I refer back to what I miss about the military is the social. So, you get that little bit back by doing things like that.
So let's quickly go back to diving.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped ahead there.
That's fine. It's all good. Because I did scuba diving as well. I was BZAC rather than Paddy, because I'm guessing you're Paddy?
Paddy. Paddy. I've done the advanced and the deep. And in 2018... 2018? Yeah, 2017 I went out to Truck Lagoon. No, 2018. When did I move here? 2018. I went out to Truck Lagoon with Debt Therapy as well. So you're diving all the old... the Japanese wrecks from World War II.
Nice.
And that was taking me out of my comfort zone. I was trained to do it, but it was one of them, I've never done this before. But again, you're in a situation where you're not comfortable, but your training kicks in. You know what you're doing. You know what your skills and drills are. And it's the first time I ever came across a shark.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, I was on a wreck called the Shinkoku Maru. It's at about 25 meters, and I mean the life on this ship. It's just amazing. I've never seen so many fish anywhere. Wow, it's just. And then we're about to come around the bridge of the ship, pop off, come around and come back on, and it's only a 6-foot grey reef shark swim past, but it's still a moment.
Yeah,
what the
definitely.
was that? But then again, you just watch it circling around the boat, and it's not interested in you whatsoever. You go, right, okay, done that now.
It's like the first time for something scary, and experiencing it and realising it's
well, I didn't realise, I was on my first ever try dive in the Maldives, my instructors give me the look over there, and I've just gone, yeah, I can't see a thing because my mask fogged up. I'm too scared to let any water in to clear it. But it was a big reef shark swimming past as well. But I had to overcome this fear of sharks. So last year, I'm going on to 2019 now. Last July, I signed up to go on it's called Get Hammered. It's run by a civic diving company in Crowthorne, dive crew. And yeah, it's just, I thought, I've got to do this. I've got to get in the water with these things properly. So I signed up to do it, really apprehensive, went out there. All my mates know I'm scared of it, and they're taking the mick and winding me up. So inside, you're putting on a brave face, but inside you're going, what is it? It's all over. So yeah, got in, and where did we dive? Daedalus, I think it was. One of the reefs out in the Red Sea, so you're on a liverboard. Got in, you're on the ribbed, bloody current's massive, and as an amputee, current is a nightmare when you're diving because you just don't go anywhere. When I was doing my advanced course, I was on a side mount. This is going back 2018. We've gone out down the South Reef of where we were staying in Egypt, and you do your turn round at a third to head back. So turn around, go back, and just hit this current. I literally exited the water with 10 bar left in one cylinder, just fighting this current to get back to the beach. It's horrible. Shallowing up, getting into the reef, nothing was working, if you know what I mean. It was a proper moment. Yeah. But yeah, got back to the beach after that. And fortunately, it was just me and my instructor on that. And he said I was getting to the point where I was going to push you at one point, but well done. And it just shows you what currents can do. So yeah, me and currents, any amputee with currents, because you got no fins to kick with. It's just your arms. And if you're working harder, you're burning more gas. So it ends up being not the best dive. Drift diving, on the other hand, though, where you just get in and let the current take you. That's brilliant. That's good. But yeah, back at Daedalus. So we're down at 30 minutes, sat there. The reef, you can just see. You're out in the blue, and then all these hammerheads start coming up, and it's like, oh, wow. It's a wow, but at the same time, it's a brilliant but scary. But again, they just sit there and circle you for a bit, and they're not really interested. It's just an amazing experience. Went in later that afternoon, and a lone hammerhead just came swimming gently as far as we are away from each other. Yeah, I'm still scared of them, but it's massively helped.
More confidence.
Yeah, more confident. Yeah. So yeah, diving, I haven't dived for a year now, but that's because of what happened in Mallorca last September.
We'll touch on that in a bit if you want.
Yeah, happy.
But I just want to ask, how was it being a triple amputee doing scuba diving? Because that's a whole different way of learning.
Yeah, I mean,
to dive.
When I remember on my honeymoon, going into having a beer and something for lunch in the Maldives, and then there's a dive centre over there. Let's go have a look. Walked in there, and the head instructor just looked me up and down, a guy called Torsten, going, okay, this could be interesting. And he shouted to his assistant, book me out tomorrow. And he spent all day with me. And
really?
It was just trying to work out how to get me buoyant and weights in different positions and stuff. And yeah, I mean, Anna came in with me. She got in, had a panic attack. First time I've ever seen someone climb a ladder with fins on as well to get out of the boat, get back on the boat.
Wow.
She was not happy. I was like, are you happy now on the boat? Yeah. Can I go in? Yeah, you crack on. I'm not going. All right. Went in, went down. Brilliant. Loved it. And we spent a lot of time just trying to work out, because I kept going in and just ended up standing up. So it's trying to find a way to get the trim sorted.
Yeah. Because as you mentioned earlier, no fins.
No fins.
So
it's just propulsion, breaststroke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or drift diving. Get in and let the current take you.
Yeah. Have you ever tried one of those motors?
No, I I have seen guys try one, but I haven't yet.
I don't know if that would work. It's just an idea.
So I ended up like a stingray or something under
Yeah,
the water, but no, I haven't tried it.
So it took you a few dives to get used to balance and stuff?
Yeah,
or?
once we worked out getting the trim sorted, once I got buoyant and my trim sorted, everything else just came.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I spent the last 4 days of my honeymoon literally diving,
Yeah.
just in the water.
Was Anna all right with that?
She was sunbathing, reading books, so she was more than happy. But yeah, I mean, I can't sit around and do nothing for 1 or 2 days is great, and then you just get fidgety and I need to go and do something. So yeah, she was happy. I ended up passing my my open water out there, and yeah, got the bug straight away.
Nice. Have you become an instructor as well? Or?
No, so I've done in 2018. I went back out to Egypt with depth therapy again, and I did my rescue course. So I've done the rescue diving course, PADI one, and for mine, the best thing the way I can explain depth therapy is they will teach you the PADI standard. This is how an able-bodied person would do it. Now you work out how you're going to do it, and they'll obviously help you and give you tips, etc. But for my assessment, I had 4 master instructors watching me.
Really?
Because no triple had ever passed the course before. So if one, I think they were just covering their own backs as well to make sure I passed. But I wouldn't say I'm a perfectionist, but I wasn't happy with what I'd done. So I went back in and did it again to be told after, and I nailed it the second time. But the first time I did it, they said you'd passed already. You didn't need to get back in. But because I'm a stubborn bloke, I had to get back in and do it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bit weird having 4 master instructors stood there watching you when usually you'd have 1. And even after it, the guy who runs depth therapy posted a video on their Facebook page, and it's me doing the lift of an unconscious diver off the seabed up to the surface, so slow ascent, and I nailed it. But someone put in a comment bar, well, he hasn't got a snorkel on. No, it's in my pocket. I always carried it in my pocket. It gets in the way. You've only got one arm. It's just like some people just, they couldn't believe that I'd done it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it to be the world's first triple amputee rescue diver. I wanted to do it because people said I couldn't do it. So yeah, I mean, all I can say is thank you, Step Therapy, for putting me through it. And yeah, did that and then did the shark diving, and that's the last time I dived. But no, I need to get back in the water soon.
But it's worth saying that again. You're the world's first triple amputee to pass the
PADI rescue course.
Rescue.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, but I mean that doesn't do anything for me. It's
I just want to be in the water and enjoy it.
Yeah, honestly, I just love diving.
Yeah.
If I could go and fall in the water every day and get wet, I'd do it.
Yeah.
Some guys like being up in the mountains. Some guys like skydiving. And I tried doing the old skydiving, but only having one hand, you need 2 for the chute. You could get stuff made, but in the end, it was just like, I don't want to be strapped to anyone else. I want to do it myself. So with diving, I can get in there. Obviously, buddied up, but
yeah, I miss diving. I haven't dived many years. In fact, since my hip replacements, and really because since being a civvy, I can't afford it.
Yeah, fair one.
like the army kind of took a hell of a lot of money, or what's the word where they not compensate, but they
adventure training sort of thing.
Yeah. So they take a lot of the funds out of it, or cost out of it.
Yeah.
So
they will pay towards it, won't they? And you top it up. Yeah, I can't remember what the word is now.
We're the same.
Yeah.
So I miss it, and if one day I can get back into it, it would be awesome. But yeah, it's just great being weightless. And
yeah, I mean, while this is all going on, I'm still keeping fit. I'm still riding the bike, but nowhere near. You're just riding the bike to enjoy it. You're not trying to sit at 200 watts for 20 minutes. You just go and ride my bike, or
just
get on Zwift, or
enjoy Zwift.
Yeah, enjoy Zwift. Or when I was living in Wiltshire, I got on the roads a lot more because it was safer down here than where I am now. But yeah, I just the way I see cycling now, even to this day now, it's just keeping fit.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be a superstar anymore. That ship sailed. I'm never going to beat guys with 2 arms unless I can sort this prosthetic out. But I spent 5 years doing that, and who knows? Maybe in the future, but at the moment, I lost the bug for racing.
So just doing it for yourself and
doing it for myself
enjoying
now.
the moment.
Yeah,
right?
by doing that, it's allowing me, like I said, other things. So public speaking, working with Blesma, going into schools, talking to kids about resilience and overcoming adversity. Casualty resources, going around the world, pretending to get blown up again for a living. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I know it sounds strange, but I really enjoy doing it because I feel like I'm giving back. Diving, being a dad, coaching. This evening, I've got to go and coaching this evening. So, yeah, I like keeping myself busy. And by giving the bike up full time, it allowed me to do a lot more with my time.
Nice. Well, that's an awful lot.
Yeah.
My one question is, how's mental health throughout all of that?
Mental health.
Because it's one thing that we don't talk too much about, but
Yeah, I
it's
know.
important.
I mean, there's a lot of, it's the forefront of a lot of people's things now, mental health wise. The amount of times you go into heady court and they make you fill in them forms. Are you feeling okay? How was your mood today? Blah, blah, blah. Honestly, filling them forms in you want to get PTSD from them forms because you feel like you should have it. But I consider, like I said earlier, I consider myself lucky. I can remember the whole incident and the bits I couldn't remember, the blanks have been filled in for me. I know I didn't do anything wrong that day. It was just it was an accident. Most things are in life are accidents. But I was lucky I had a good family and heady court for me. Being in a situation where you're learning how to walk at the same time as other people are learning how to walk and you're pushing each other. I kept myself busy, I think, helped. So luckily, I didn't have any mental health issues. The only time I've ever had flashbacks is from the bike crash I had last year.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, I was in Mallorca last September, just doing a lap around the island with my wife and friends. And we climbed from Palenza, for those who've been to Mallorca, to the Pygmy, the highest road on the island. So we've gone up there. I was knackered by the time I got up there. But it's a 15-mile descent into Soler, and we were spending the night down there. So we've gone through the tunnel at the top, and I thought, I'm not going to push this. I'm just going to enjoy the descent. So I literally rolled the bike. And now, when I was descending Wolf Creek in America, I hit 60 miles an hour at one point. I was probably doing 25, 30 going down this hill. I've come around the left hairpin. This is near the top, and I've gone to go around the right. I've pulled my brakes on my bike, tapping them, and my front tire's blown on my bike. Now, your brakes on your handbike are all on the front wheel, so I had no other way of stopping. My cycling jersey's got black lines underneath from where I've tried sticking my arms in the rear wheels to stop. There's nothing stopping this bike. And as I blew, a truck came around the corner, and I've skidded into the wrong side of the road, and my front wheels hit the side skirts of the truck underneath it, and it's pushed me into the back wheel, and my left leg took the whole impact. First time in my life I ever thought I was going to die. Genuinely just remember seeing the axle turning under the lorry. I go, I'm dead. Index. That's what I thought. Genuinely, I'm dead. And then the next thing I know, I'm on the other side of the road looking up at the sky, lying on my back. My arm's still connected to the bike. Prosthetic won't stay on when I'm racing, but when you crash the bike, it will stay on. And I was alive. I was like, I'm alive. And I went straight into full on, right, I can move my neck. Wow, I've not broke my arm. My other arm it was connected, but I could move it. And I lifted my right leg up. I was like, that's all right. And I went to lift my left leg up and nothing happened. So I remember grabbing it, lifting it up, and there was just blood squirting out the end. It was all a mess. The end of my femur had taken the whole impact and literally crushed the end of my leg. Fortunately, I had a carbon fibre socket on the bike over my leg. And that pretty much, from what a friend of mine behind me said, that pretty much saved my leg. I reckon it would just ripped off. But yeah, I just shouted straight away, tourniquet, tourniquet. And my two friends literally just jumped on me. One of them took his cycling jersey off and just started tying it around my legs. Thankfully, they're both ex-military, so tying it around my leg. People are stopping, the locals are stopping traffic. I was honestly on the ground, fearing for my life. I knew I was in Afghanistan. When you're on the deck, you know there's a helicopter coming for you. You've got a trained medic around you. You're in a safe place. As long as they can get you back. I was on the top of a mountain in Mallorca, not knowing what was going on. I should be dead. And I kept feeling myself dropping in and out while I was up there. And David and Alan, who were with me, were just, come on, mate, stay with me. One of them put my leg underneath my helmet. There was an old man in a car. Just came and got a sheet out and just held it up above me to keep the sun off my head. And a British doctor cycled past, stopped, got out, give me some bruising. Just that placebo effect of having some painkillers made it not hurt as much. I mean, the first 20 minutes was like being blown up, no pain whatsoever.
Okay.
Second 40 minutes for the ambulance, I was in. The last 20 minutes was just pure pain, agony, like throbbing agony. And the worst bit was you could hear the ambulance 10 minutes before it got to us, because it was at the bottom of the hill and you were at the top. You can hear it winding its way up. And Anna had already descended, so I was worried about her as well. And Jensen, would I ever see him again? Honestly, I didn't know. It's proper touch and go. Remember when the ambulance got there, you felt safer because you knew there were proper paramedics there. But yeah, they got out, and from what David, who was with me, said, they jumped out, looked at me, and they were ready to start running in the bushes to look for limbs, if you know what I mean. Because what is going on here? This isn't a normal bike crash.
Yeah.
But he's like, no. Afghanistan bomb in his best Spanish, which isn't Spanish at all. But yeah, they were there, and they got some pain meds into me straight away, and I started nodding. I remember getting to the hospital, chucked me in an MRI scanner, and yeah, that was it. I was out then, straight in surgery, where they literally amputated the end 6 inches off my left leg
Another
stump.
6 inches off.
Another 6 inches. The bone was so badly broken, it was just pieces. It was shattered, completely shattered. So yeah, they took it off. And then, from what Anna said, she saw me in the hospital that night. She didn't think she'd ever see me again. I was in that deep, dark place. But the next morning, I woke up and I was texting her. It was, the meds had obviously worked overnight. They brought me back to a sort of conscious state. And then the day after that, they got me in for surgery, where they pinned my neck of femur and my femur is completely sheared.
Right.
Where the impact had taken it. Fortunately, I'd leant just right before I'd hit the lorry, apparently. And that opened my hip up, which saved my hip. So they pulled my femur down and bolted it back to my neck of femur. So yeah, quite a bit of damage, but yeah, I spent 5 days in intensive care, and they went, you can go home.
Really?
Give us your flight number and we'll get you home. But it turned out the insurance company and the hospital weren't really talking to each other. I ended up spending nearly another week in Spain, and by that point I contracted sepsis. By the time I did get home, which is the week after they said you could go home, I was in surgery and pretty much died on the operating table. And thankfully, Miss Crick, who's at Salisbury Hospital, she got me back round, and I'm still here. I would not be here without that woman. She is amazing.
Wow.
So yeah, I spent 10 weeks in hospital, operations every 3 days to clean it out. And yeah, I mean, the pictures I've seen of it, when she opened my leg up when I got back to Salisbury, it all just fell to bits. She had to take a further couple of centimetres off the bone because sepsis had got into the bone. So yeah, not the best. Honestly, I just saw easy descent into Solar. Next thing you know, you're fighting for your life. It just shows you that accidents happen. Anything can happen. And again, you go through your thought process afterwards of what could I have done differently? I didn't do anything wrong. It's just an accident.
Yeah.
These things happen.
Yeah.
You can crash a car. But back on the mental health thing, it was after leaving hospital, I was having sort of, not flashback, but just before going to sleep every night, I just kept dreaming about going into the side of a truck. But fortunately, I just talking to people. I told Anna about it, and I spoke to other people about it, and now it's back to normal. It's all stopped since I started riding my bike again.
Has it? Okay.
So, I mean, the pain after this has been a lot worse than getting blown up. Pain-wise, recovery time-wise, because this is completely different. It's just, I think all of that added to the fact that I was on my own. I wasn't at Headley Court. I wasn't surrounded by people in the same situation as me. I was having to do this myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have the support of seeing a physio every day or an OT or an ERI. I was literally in my own front room doing stretches that I remember from Headley Court. So yeah, thankfully I'm up walking again on stubbies.
Oh, you are?
Cool. Yeah, my hips, I went and saw my doctor 2 weeks ago, and my hip, the bones healed properly.
Nice.
I need to have further surgery on it, but I can walk around on stubbies. Again, I've been in a wheelchair for 9 months. I don't think that's helped mental health either, because you've gone from being really mobile and really active to stuck in a wheelchair again.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier, it's like having handcuffs.
Yeah, having to ask for help to get something off the top shelf in a fridge and stuff like that. It breaks me, having to ask for help, because I'm quite an independent person. But do you know what? if you have to ask for help, stick your hand up and ask for help. Stop being so stubborn.
Yeah. And like you said, talking helps.
Yeah, talking to people. So, like, again, talking to people, and I went through that whole thought process of like when I got blown up, I thought I'd done something wrong, but talking to people who were there and other people, it was just an accident. It's just a freak accident. Nothing I could have done would have stopped that bike. If I'd have tried jumping off it, something might have hit me the other way, or if I'd have tried turning the cranks, the bike would have flipped and I'd have properly gone under the lorry. Yeah. You don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, talking to people who were there and other people, and it's just opening up. It's helped me get past it. And so now I'm just back to normal again.
It's good. And you say you're back on the bike?
Back on the bike. So I got the bike 5 weeks ago. I've not been on the road yet. I just keep in the garage on Zwift at the moment.
That's fine.
No, I need to get new carbon fibre sockets made to go on the bike for my stumps, just to protect them a bit. But do you know what? Zwift's brilliant. I was on the mountains today. I'm hanging this afternoon. My arms are screaming at me, but it's good.
Nice. Well, man, that's been it's been quite a ride.
Pleasure.
I suppose everything you've gone through with the military at this point in the podcast, is there anything you would say to somebody that's either joined the military or just about to leave to become a veteran? Any advice that you want to share at this last part?
Any advice? I mean, joining the military is a brilliant career. Whatever service you join, maybe not the RAF regiment, but that's a joke. Sorry, I won't put that in there. But no, do you know what? It's a great way of seeing the world, literally. I mean, my brother was in for a while. He didn't deploy on an operational tour, but he went to Sierra Leone and helped with Ebola and things like that. And everyone has a different experience in the military. And I reiterate, I don't miss the uniform. I don't miss the bullshit, but I just miss that sort of camaraderie. I've got friends still now that are still in the military that will be my friends for life, more than friends I had at school and things like that. You will never meet people like the people you meet in the military. When you've been in a situation where someone's got your back and you've got theirs, and you're there for them, you'll never forget that. So yeah, I'd always recommend someone to join the military, whatever you join. If you join, it's not for you. It's not for you, but try it. And leaving, I actually know guys that have ended up signing back on because they miss it so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if I still have my legs and stuff, would I still be in? Who knows? But that's life. You don't know what's going to happen.
Don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah,
right?
But if you are going to make a decision, commit to it. And if you commit to it, like I said earlier, you generally your quality of life goes on an upward trajectory because you want to do something. If you're committed to it, you will do it. Whereas if you go into something half-heartedly, you're more likely to fail. But yeah, no, I'd always recommend someone to join the military. I had a great time. And do I regret joining? Not one bit. I often get asked that, do you regret joining the army? Would you? No, because I consider my life, even though everything I've been through, all the experiences I've been in the last 10 years, I'd never have done that if I hadn't have been injured. My quality of life now is probably better than it was when I had my limbs. Would I trade it all back? I'd love to have my legs and my arm back, but they're not coming back. So I can't answer that question. I've just got to move on with life.
Yeah. And you got plans and thoughts for the next few years and stuff once we're out of this pandemic crap?
Pandemic, yeah. No, I mean, the pandemic's put a stop on the sort of operations I need. I need to sort this leg out first and get walking again properly. I just keep fizzing, keep working, and just keep myself busy. I can't sit down for too long. Yeah, I think I completed Netflix during the pandemic, but yeah. But again, it's the card we've been dealt, and we've got to deal with it. Yeah. We will all come out of it eventually. And there's always someone worse off than you. That's the way you got to look at things. But in the future, I need to get back in the water. I need to get diving. I spoke to a few mates that are up in the hills. Maybe one day get up there with them. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Nothing's set in stone. Train, eat, sleep, train, repeat.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much. So thanks for sharing.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, fine. No, I've enjoyed it. I've absolutely loved it.
And most importantly, thank you for your service.
Oh, don't say that. I can't stand it when people say that.
Well, I think it's good because just that little thank.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
No problem. This has been Military Veterans Podcast, out.